An expansive pro-abortion bill is moving to the Illinois Senate. The Reproductive Health Act passed the State House yesterday, wiping out 45 years of protections for unborn children and mothers seeking abortions. Passionate arguments were made on both sides during the debate over the issue, which allows women to get the procedure much later in their pregnancies. If the Senate approves in a concurrence vote, the bill moves on to the governor's desk. Authorities are still investigating after the brother of the founder of Mariano's grocery store chain was found dead in Schaumburg. Joseph Mariano's body was discovered early Sunday in a home in the 200 block of Dublin Lane. He had been stabbed, and his death is being considered a homicide. It's a former Arlington Heights police officer and juvenile detective and brother of Mariano's founder, Bob Mariano. Former government employee in Northwest Indiana has been sentenced to more than 5 years in prison after being convicted of using municipal funds to buy more than $1 million worth of computer equipment that she then resold. Federal judge sentenced 47-year-old Monique Bowling Boyd of Maryville to 63 months in prison. Bowling stole and obtained by fraud more than 1,500 Apple computer devices under the care, custody, and control of the city of Gary. A school bus driver in Dixon is looking at aggravated DUI charges after police say he was driving drunk with kids on his bus. Dixon police arrested 55-year-old Timothy Cloutier after they say they got a tip that he was driving drunk 2 weeks ago with 9 children on his school bus. Cloutier still being held in the Lee County Jail. Ongoing rain causing more planting difficulty for Illinois farmers. Working conditions in the fields have only been suitable for about a day and a half of planting. Only about 35% of the state's corn and 15% of soybeans have been planted. A White Sox employee going viral this morning for an errant ceremonial first pitch. The unknown staffer's toss did not go into anyone's glove. Instead, it hit a camera of a photographer capturing the moment on the first base side of the mound just before last night's Sox-Royals game at Guaranteed Rate Field. The photographer posted on Twitter that he and the camera are doing okay. Lucas Giolito struck out 10, allowing 3 runs in 8 innings of work to win his 5th straight start. White Sox beat the Royals 4-3 at Guaranteed Rate Field and won the suspended game from the day before as well. Astros outslugged the Cubs 9-6 in Houston. Fire on the road tonight to face D.C. United. Stanley Cup Finals resume tonight. Bruins hosting the Blues in Game 2 at the Garden. The news is a service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. 5:07, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder wants to know what's wrong with earning citizenship.
I want to just say something about the word that they use, merit. It is really a condescending word.
Merit is a condescending word. At least you didn't say it was racist. Approximately 12% of immigrants admitted are based upon employment and skills. 12%, 66% precisely are admitted based upon family connections.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Hey guys, see how you can get an unlimited plan with one of the newest phones included for one low price. Visit your local Sprint store, Sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1 to learn how you can switch to a Sprint Unlimited plan today.
You probably don't realize this, but between you and your employer, you've contributed as much as 12.4% of your earnings to Social Security, and you've been doing this since your very first paycheck as a kid. Add it up over 40 or 50 years, and it could make your 401k contributions look like chump change. But there's one big problem. Claiming your Social Security benefits is complicated, confusing, and riddled with trapdoors. Hi, this is Tom Portino. According to PBS and Boston University professor Lawrence Kotlikoff, the Social Security Handbook has 2,278 separate rules governing its benefits, and it has thousands upon thousands of explanations of those rules. Talk about a user's nightmare. Learn how you can help get what's yours. The answers are in our new reports on maximizing your Social Security benefit. It includes little-known strategies that could earn you tens of thousands of dollars more, even as much as $100,000 over your lifetime. This could be a game changer. Call right now to receive this information. 630-519-4742. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
5:11. And then check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Some light rain is falling around O'Hare and Midway this morning, though most flights are moving as scheduled. Orland Park, there is a closure of Southwest Highway, 135th, 143rd due to flooding. Chicago's west side, there's a crash on Lake Street at Racine. Inbound Kennedy, traffic is heavy. The Hubbard Tunnel, Burns Circle after some overnight work. It's now just a 1 or 2 minute delay. On Eisenhower, before Pulaski, there's a rollover crash in the right lane. Prepare to slow down in that area. The other expressways are still looking pretty good for the most part. Some overnight work is wrapping up. Little Village, 26th, has been blocked off. Sacramento and California, a taste of Mexico this weekend. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer is on Arc Watch. We're looking for NOAA this morning in your official Chicagoland weather forecast. In the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy, shower and thunderstorm. The high today, 69. Clouds and a shower tonight. Thunderstorm late, low 56. Cloudy tomorrow, a shower and thunderstorm. And the high tomorrow, 71. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
54 at O'Hare, 54 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy and Justin Amash, the first House Republican to openly call for an impeachment inquiry into President Trump.
And he's a congressman out of Michigan, right?
A congressman out of Michigan had his first town hall since he made that dramatic call. A lot of rumors swirling that he may be considering a presidential run himself. Okay.
Oh, really?
Sure.
All right.
Here's Justin Amash explaining himself to a packed town hall, covered by CNN, of course, because, he called for an impeachment inquiry.
I think it's really important that we do our job as a Congress, that we not allow misconduct to go undeterred, that we not just say someone can violate the public trust and that there are no consequences to it. And if you get a chance, I encourage you all to read the tweet where it lays all of this out. Mueller's report lays all of this out. And I'm confident that if you read Volume 2, you will be appalled at much of the conduct. And I was appalled by it. And that's why I stated what I stated. That's why I came to that conclusion, because I think we can't let conduct like that go unchecked. Congress has a duty to keep the president in check, and it is a difficult process for those who are worried about Congress intruding on the president's powers consistently. It is a difficult process to remove someone from office. It's not easy. So no one's suggesting that just because you start some inquiry or process that a person's removed from office. Nonetheless, we have a job to do. And I think we owe it to the American people to represent them, to ensure that the people we have in office are doing the right thing, are of good character, aren't violating the public trust.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Can't go unchecked. Well, I mean, it was checked by that report that you referenced in your tweets that made you call for the impeachment inquiry. It was checked by Bob Mueller and his team of federal prosecutors. It's also been checked by any number of House and Senate committees, and so much has it been checked that those House committees in particular are now really moving on, as much as they want Mueller to testify, yes, but they're really moving on to Trump's finances and business dealings.
Oh, they're just making his life hell, really, is what they're doing. And I feel bad for President Trump and his family members. I do. I mean, every aspect, every committee, if you go through the list of who's investigating what, it's nonstop.
It's also worth...
Nothing's enough to stop them from doing it.
Well, I mean, just with respect to Justin Amash, who, he's...
run for president. Okay.
He's a libertarian. He's actually, interestingly, he's Palestinian-American.
Oh, really?
He's a Palestinian Christian. Doesn't get a lot of pub for being of Palestinian descent because he wears his libertarianism on his sleeve, not his faith. But he has been fairly fiscally conservative as a congressman, and that's drawn the rebuke of Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, and so forth. But that's fine. But on this, he's essentially drawing conclusions that Mueller didn't draw. And you know what the big difference between the Mueller report and, say, the Starr report was, since we've made so many
comparisons?
Yeah. You know what the big difference is?
What?
Ken Starr said Bill Clinton was guilty. Bob Mueller had the opportunity to take the evidence that he compiled, these 10 instances that the left keeps obsessing about, most of whom have not read the Volume 2 that Justin Amash referred to. I have. We can go through them. They're not anything you haven't heard before that we haven't covered throughout the investigation. They're just compiled in a list. But that's the big difference. So if Mueller thought that those 10 instances cleared the threshold of criminal conduct, criminal obstruction of justice, he should have said so. He had every opportunity. In fact, as we've talked about with Andy McCarthy and others, that was his charge. And he chose not to. So, is this Justin Amash grandstanding, much like the Democrats want to do? Well, interestingly, at this town hall, there was a woman there wearing a MAGA hat.
Oh, really?
And she asked a question. And it's not only the statement she made and the question she asked, but also listen to the audience reaction.
Because she's wearing the hat, or she stood up to ask a question, or
both? Both,
okay.
Really. And see who it may be that Justin Amash is playing to based on the reaction of the crowd.
I'll go over here to the Make America Great Again. Yeah, no problem. So let's be respectful.
That's so typical that you boo me because I have a Make America Great hat on again. Really.
Let's all be respectful, please.
Yes. If you want to go along with violating the public trust, how far does that go? Are we going to look at the Democrats that have done the same thing? And, oh, please, really.
So let's all be respectful. Please.
See, this is my point exactly. You don't, because they have all, starting with Hillary Clinton on down, have tried to take over the country by a silent coup. And it's really...
Please, I ask you all to please be respectful of the person asking the question.
My question is, how can you become a Democrat when we voted for you as a Republican? Because you just drink the same Kool-Aid as all the Democrats.
It's interesting, the reaction. So a lot of applause for the MAGA hat and for her question. How can you drink the same Kool-Aid as the Democrat we voted for you as the Democrats we voted for you as a Republican? But there was some noticeable, you heard, vociferous booing. One guy stood up and he was railing at her like a loon during most of her run-up to trying to get a question out amid the boos and the catcalling. But anyway, it's interesting. So, his district also may have something to do with the position he's taken, even though he's potentially facing the prospect of a Republican primary.
He's in the Grand Rapids area.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So it just...
I liked how he protected her.
Interesting.
I know, but I liked how he protected her. Like, please be respectful of
well,
her.
Right.
Because you don't really hear that a lot.
Well, right.
Especially if he's maybe possibly considering challenging the incumbent, President Trump.
He also may be possibly considering that he has to walk a fine line in that district between the Trump voters who supported him and those who are not Trump voters or and who didn't and are applauding him for breaking ranks with the Republicans in the House and calling for this impeachment inquiry. But so the politics in that Michigan congressional district are somewhat interesting. He's a somewhat interesting political animal, but the argument he's making, lest that be lost in all of this. The argument he's making just doesn't hold up under the evidence presented by Mueller. So unless Justin Amash can get his hands on that evidence that Adam Schiff or Eric Swalwell has been running around for 2 years saying they have and have presented, we don't have anything new here. And those 10 instances, and I said we go chapter and verse from the termination of Comey to the public responses for the public back and forth, well, not really back and forth, but the public admonishments of Jeff Sessions and so on and so forth. We can go through all 10 of them if you want. There is no underlying crime of illegal conspiring, quote-unquote collusion. What the president did was within his plenary power as the executive, his constitutional authority to do things like fire executive branch officials like Comey. So what do you got? Some tweets? Some allegations of orders given that weren't followed? What do you have, Justin? You don't have anything more than Mueller had, and Mueller punted.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. You'll also see for free why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
Eventually, it will stop raining when we'll be able to play golf, right? I mean, the golf season is here, right? Right, Dan?
Played yesterday.
Okay, how'd you do?
78.
Oh.
Starting to get back.
Starting to come around.
I got to play, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I've been playing, like for last week, I was playing horribly, and then I started to put it together.
Good.
Just a little adjustment in my stance.
What are you, wider stance or narrow?
No,
narrow stance?
I was bending down too much. I need to stand a little bit straighter up.
Oh, yeah, get more momentum with the hips. All right, good talk. So if you want to golf with Dan Proft or want to see Dan Proft golf, then you want to join us for our annual golf outing, which is going to be Monday, June 24th at the beautiful Miss Wood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. Now, many of you asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf with you? The answer is no. Anyone can join us for a great day of golf. The proceeds go to the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. Here's what you do. Call this number, 312-363-6680, to reserve your foursome. Again, that's 312-363-6680. Anyone can join us for a great day of golf. And if you're a business owner or make the marketing decisions, we've got the business benefactor program. You purchase a foursome for $1,196, and we give you 25 one-minute commercials that will air Monday through Friday right here on AM 560. Folks, it's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. Call 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
Hey, it's not officially summer yet, but it's starting to feel like it. Yeah, and maybe you feel like getting out and enjoying the weather, but after the golf game or the bike ride, you don't want to wake up the next day sore and tired. That's why you need to take Balance of Nature. It's 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies in a single capsule. Folks, it's really the easy way to get all the fruits and veggies in your diet. So stop waiting to try Balance of Nature. Thousands of people are taking it, including me, and we're enjoying healthier, more active lifestyles. Now, I know you've heard their stories here on the air. Those stories are real, and the next story could be yours. So get healthy this summer with Balance of Nature, and right now, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on your first order of Balance of Nature. But you've got to call to get Balance of Nature. The number 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Justin Amash was not the only one with the town hall last night. Creep Show Joe Biden had one, sponsored by the American Federation for Teachers. It's the only way to get anybody to show up to a Joe Biden event. You have to have union members forced to attend.
Right. Well, he has a proposal for the teachers.
Yeah. More money.
More money because they don't make enough money and they've got student loans to pay.
Right. Joe Biden's proposal, more money, because as Joe Biden famously said, we have to keep spending money to prevent from going bankrupt. Joe Biden was asked a question by a young girl, and that's when Creep Show Joe showed up. don't get the full effect with the audio, but you get some of it.
And we can walk you through it in case you folks need help.
We can walk you through it the same way Joe Biden walked that little girl around the audience with his hands on her shoulders. Where was mom or dad? Get your hands off my kid, Creepshow Joe.
I'm going to write you a longer answer and tell you the exact things I would do, okay? Okay? Promise? I bet you're as bright as you're good looking. What's your favorite subject? Journalism. Whoa! Whoa! I better be more circumspect in my answer. Those guys back there. Go ahead, the next question. I love it. Okay, over here. Washington Post, New York Times.
Walking her around the audience.
With his hands on her shoulder.
Yeah.
By the way, that's one of the things that's dangerous.
So she doesn't have a chance to.
These guys will tell you.
And then he's introducing her to the reporters.
Yeah,
But the
because
truth
she's
of the
such a
matter
good
is,
reporter. So
the reason we are who we are is called a free press. Continuing to
Except for Bob.
Somebody take it back to maybe meet the press.
Oh, golly.
And then he took her hand and walked her back, but during the time he did lean over and he whispered something to her that they couldn't tell. I mean, you could hear him say, "I'll bet you're as bright as you are good looking."
Exactly.
We heard that. But then he kept trouncing her around because you're like, "Are you sure?" Oh, he did. Are you sure you want to do this? This is kind of dangerous. As he's introducing her to reporters.
He had his hand on her shoulders, and then he leaned down to put his face next to her face.
I know.
It's just like this little, I don't know how old she was, 10, 12, 13 years old, something
She was
like
10.
that. 10.
Yeah.
I honestly,
I wouldn't do that as a coach because I coach 10-year-olds. You don't touch them. That's
Joe,
creepy.
Joe, keep your hands off the kids. Keep your hands off women who aren't Jill. Keep your hands off the kids. Keep your hands off the American people.
And we don't know if he smelled her hair, but I think he was leaning that way. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk about preferring middle-income blacks over poor whites as school policy at 5:38.
And the best volleyball team in the world gave a great gift. We'll explain. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
54 degrees, rain showers and clouds. Cleanup underway after a large tornado tore through parts of Lawrence, Kansas. Tornado touched down near the University of Kansas yesterday evening, leaving a path of destruction northeast into the Kansas City suburbs. At least a dozen were hurt. More than 10,000 homes and businesses left without power. Weather also impacted travel at Kansas City International Airport. Officials closed KCI for several hours as storm debris littered the airfield. Mississippi River flooding is already approaching historic levels in certain stretches. National Weather Service says this morning flooding in at least 8 states is the longest lasting since the Great Flood of 1927. The river at Vicksburg, Mississippi, has not been at flood stage this long since that time. Quad Cities, Davenport, Bettendorf, Rock Island, Moline, the river is flooding longer there than ever before. National Security Advisor John Bolton says naval mines, almost certainly from Iran, were to blame for the oil tanker damage earlier this month in the Gulf of Oman. He made that claim today during a visit to the United Arab Emirates, but provided no evidence to back that claim. The Democrat National Committee this morning will up the ante for its second round of presidential primary debates, doubling the polling and grassroots fundraising requirements from its initial summer debates. About a half dozen candidates have demonstrated the capacity so far to hit the new polling marks with relative ease. Several more are definitely on the fence, and perhaps a dozen or more may not make it and face an uphill path. Louisiana House lawmakers could vote on a fetal heartbeat abortion bill today. An investigation continues after the brother of a fugitive wanted in the killing of a Chicago teen was shot and killed by Chicago police on the South Side. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is laying out her priorities for her first 100 days. She spoke to the City Club yesterday and presides over her first City Council meeting today. The World Punkin' Chunkin' Championship will soon be held in Illinois. The contest is moving to Rantoul. It's a big deal. It's been held in Delaware for decades. Officials have chosen the Chanute Air Force Base because it has lots of land to work with. The event will be held November 1st through November 3rd and annually draws thousands to the championship. Lucas Giolito looked good, striking out 10, allowing 3 runs over 8 to win his 5th straight start. White Sox beat the Royals 4-3 in Game 2 at guaranteed rate, while Game 1 went to the White Sox 2-1 over the Royals. That was an earlier completion of Monday's suspended game. Astros outslugged the Cubs 9-6 in Houston. 5:34 is our time, and we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
News, opinion, insight.
They broke the deal. They can't do that, so they'll be paying. We don't make the deal.
What happens next happens here.
The special counsel's finding is clear. Case closed.
That's just not a fact. The case is not closed.
These stories and more are changing by the minute. Check in 2, 3, 4 times each day for the latest.
If they do anything, it would be a very bad mistake.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
I am Welby Torres, owner and lead tech at AirTech Automotive. When a job well done is out of here and you see this customer's face lit up, you can't fake that. And that's satisfaction to me. What am I working for? To treat every car like I treat mine.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll. Informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents and Doug.
Limu, there's a woman threatening to sign up for generic car insurance. Grab your birdseed and let's go.
I'm gonna sign these papers right here, right now.
Ma'am, drop the pen. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Thanks, Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Don't thank us, thank Liberty Mutual. But also thank us.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
5:37 in the AM 560 traffic center. The latest. Another wet morning on the drive to work. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, it's become a familiar theme this spring at Orland Park. Southwest Highway is closed between 135th and 143rd due to the flooding in that area. Inbound Eisenhower Expressway, traffic stop and go Cicero to Pulaski. A rollover crash has cleared out of the right lane, but you're still looking at about a 3 or 4 minute delay. Kennedy is fine now after some overnight work cleared in the downtown area. The inbound Stevenson has scattered delays starting at Lamont Road. It's 39 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, about 34. On the right, you've got a 2 or 3 minute delay coming into downtown Chicago. Bishop Ford, a 2 minute delay approaching the merge. Tollway traffic is still pretty light. Northwest Indiana looks good. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy, shower or thunderstorm around again today. High of 69. 54 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we talked about it yesterday. Like thieves in the night, the Chicago Democrat crime families who run the Illinois General Assembly meeting over the weekend to advance noxious legislation, including a repeal on the partial birth abortion ban in Illinois. That cleared the House yesterday, as expected.
Okay.
Goes over to the Senate. It will clear the Senate. It will be signed by Governor Jellybelly, who wants to make Illinois the most pro-abortion state in the nation, and so it shall be.
Think that we'll have weekend junkets where ladies come here, stay in all-inclusives, and get abortions?
It's not so glamorous.
Tourism.
It's not so glamorous. It's people coming across the border, borders. This is why Planned Parenthood locates their mill in a place like Flossmoor. In addition to that, of course, it's also the preying on the poor and the disproportionately minority women that is the stock and trade of Planned Parenthood. And we've just endorsed that. This was Clarence Thomas's point in a Supreme Court holding in that Indiana abortion law case, pro-life case, where he reminded the court about the pro-abortion movement's well-known history with eugenics, something that didn't come up during debate yesterday because the dumbest and most cowardly caucus in America, that would be the House Republican caucus in Illinois, decided that for the debate on the repeal of the partial birth abortion ban and other subordinate matters that make Illinois the most pro-abortion state, or will, in the nation, they decided, the House GOP leadership in their infinite cowardice, to have a young state rep named Avery Bourne from Southern Illinois be the only person to debate on behalf of the life position, to debate the sponsor of this ghoulish legislation, the equally ghoulish Kelly Cassidy, Democrat from Chicago. Avery Bourne is pregnant. So they thought, oh, this is great optics. And here's the problem with that, of course. This is Kavanaugh Redux. You start from the premise of the left, and you advance the argument of the left. Oh, men can't speak to the issue of life?
Yeah, don't you feel you guys are always cut out of this conversation?
Well, we're not. Only to the extent we allow ourselves to be. I mean, the most eloquent defender of life in the Illinois General Assembly is Tom Morrison, a Republican from Palatine. But he's going to cede his time to Avery Bourne. I mean, she's a nice young girl, but please. You start from the left's premise, you advance the left argument. There are men in the General Assembly that have daughters. There are men in the General Assembly that have wives, moms, grandmas, men in the General Assembly that care about women's health, that care about unborn life. They can't speak to it? Oh, but Dan, you have to understand, you weren't going to change anybody else's mind in the General Assembly. That vote was baked in. I know. Even more to the point, this is an exchange I had with another pro-life legislator as I was excoriating the idiocy and cowardice of the House Republican caucus. Yeah, I know you're going to lose. Even more to the point, to make the best arguments you can, the best arguments, plural, that you can, across the wide expanse of the state as represented by the Republican caucus. Put people on the record. Have people throw their ante in the middle instead of ceding your time, hiding behind Avery Bourne. It's just disgraceful. You want to know why we are going to have the most pro-abortion state in the nation? And you know why we are the most poorly governed state in the history of America? It's because of the cowardice, first and foremost, and just sheer, unadulterated stupidity of the Illinois Republican Party. Unqualified cowardice, unmitigated stupidity of the Illinois Republican Party. And I'm not just talking about yesterday. I'm talking about for the last 25 years. It doesn't happen overnight. It is a slow but steady walk into the abyss. And they are totally lost. Totally lost. They don't even see what they're doing because they're not interested in outside perspectives. They're interested in their own perceived third eye insight into politics. Oh, it's working out well. Fewer Republicans in the Illinois House since before the Republican Party was formed, when it was Whigs versus Democrats in the 1840s. Strategic geniuses. I guess I don't understand politics. I don't understand the great wisdom, the great political chops of the Republican Party in this state. Disgrace. And the pro-lifers who are propping up Avery Bourne, others who spoke on behalf of life in the run-up to this process, please stop indulging in incompetence and cowardice. Knock it off. If you don't hold them to account, then nobody will. And if you don't hold them to account, you're never going to get any improvement. It's just so awful. It's difficult for me to put into words, and that's sort of what I do. It's exasperating.
Was she that bad when she spoke? I mean, I'm trying to read.
She was okay.
45 minutes she debated back and
She was
forth.
okay. Here's when you know it's bad. When you have pro-abort, surrender Republicans, and I don't care what he says he is, like Steve Anderson, who was the lead surrender Republican. He's out of the Geneva, Batavia area. Yeah. Steve Anderson, former state rep. He didn't run for re-election because he couldn't win. He's the lead who folded on the 32% income tax increase in the summer of 2017. And then he didn't run for re-election. The courage to increase taxes during that impasse, that budget impasse between Ronner and the legislature. Oh, and Karen McConaughey, they're on social media going back and forth, just saying, oh, how wonderful it is that this debate between Kelly Cassidy and Avery Bourne is so civil. As if that's the gold standard of
It shouldn't be so.
Of discussion. How about substantive? How about powerful? How about insightful? Those are descriptors you never hear because it never is. It's play acting. And I'm not suggesting that Avery Bourne isn't truly pro-life and she wasn't genuinely emotional about the issue.
Yeah,
that's not the point.
She was in tears yesterday.
Not the point. The point is you don't abdicate your responsibility as a pro-lifer and a legislator. I'm talking about the rest of the caucus. To someone, to any individual, frankly, regardless of the quality of their debating skills. And hers are wanting, to be quite frank about it. The civil. Can I tell you what partial birth abortion is? We talk in these abstractions, and this is exactly my problem with Bourne and so many others. It's vague generalities. That's what the left counts on. We don't speak the unadulterated truth, and so do people really get a sense of what we're talking about here? Because it's all about loosening abortion restrictions, the way the D.C. Press Corps and Chicago Press Corps covers it. Is that what we're doing? Is it? You know what a partial birth abortion is? It's a procedure in which the abortionist pulls a living baby feet first out of the womb and into the birth canal, except for the head, which the abortionist purposely keeps lodged just inside the cervix. The abortionist punctures the base of the baby's skull with a surgical instrument, such as a long surgical scissors or a pointed hollow metal tube. He then inserts a catheter into the wound and removes the baby's brain with a powerful suction machine. This causes the skull to collapse, after which the abortionist completes the delivery of the now dead baby. Who supports that? Raise your hand.
That would have been more effective, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the measure passed 64-50, and 6 Democrats voted no.
Yeah, but those Democrats are a joke.
Okay.
And the Democrats who voted president are a joke, too.
Yeah, 4 of those.
You understand these are all structured votes. So the people whose votes are not needed get a pass per their reelection.
Right.
So that's just so they can run around saying, I voted against it or I voted present because I didn't want to, because this isn't my issue. Give me a break.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Clarence Thomas, he's a Supreme Court justice, right? You've heard of him? He's not afraid to give the accurate history of the pro-abortion ghouls at Planned Parenthood and elsewhere. Margaret Sanger, a featured guest of the KKK, a proponent of the sterilization program the Nazi regime embarked upon in the 1930s, founder of Planned Parenthood. In 1921, she wrote, the unbalance between the birth rate of the unfit, quote unquote, and the fit is admittedly the greatest present menace to civilization. The most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the over-fertility of the mentally and physically defective. Alan Guttmacher, former president of Planned Parenthood in the 60s and 70s. The Guttmacher Institute, that's referenced with reverence by the D.C. Press Corps. It should be permissible to abort any pregnancy in which there is a strong possibility of an abnormal or malformed infant. 78% of Planned Parenthood clinics are located in minority communities. Coincidence, you think? Was this part of it?
They go where the customers are.
Well, they go where they want the customers to be. Yes, that's right. That's right, because they prey on people's fears. That's what they do. 12% of the population is black. 35% of the country's abortions. Any issue? See any problem with that? Where's the discussion of equity when it comes to blacks representing 3 times their population as it pertains to abortion? No concern about equity there. The overrepresentation of black children being aborted? Where are the race monitors? Dave and Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Greetings. Evoking Jonathan Swift's modest proposal, will the Illinois State Fair have a Planned Parenthood booth serving such tasty treats as bacon-wrapped deep-fried fetus on a stick,
okay,
fetal liver pate, and let's not forget the buffalo baby wings. And, of course, you probably have the biggest customer would be Governor Fat Bastard.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the truth. You don't need to overstate the argument. The truth is graphic enough. Tom in Blue Island.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. No topic that a politician has to answer for can be more important than defending the unborn. It's incredible. It's like that Virginia governor, Northam, actually sitting there saying the child will be made comfortable and a conversation will ensue. It's how generations down the road are going to look at the people and how they live today. If that woman yesterday could have jammed any more euphemisms around what she was describing, it's just too incredible that human beings can live like that. And then everyone wonders why society's getting so messed up and these kids are so messed up today. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tom. Patty on the Northwest Side.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. This is just, we've come to a point where we're not even debating. It's almost like a business transaction now, the business of human life. Like, we're not even getting to the point. There's a lot of, like even Amy alluded, and I have a lot of friends that are pro-choice, but they're very, very, very uncomfortable with this late-term abortion, and they're not bringing this to they're either scared to bring it to the forefront because now we're talking about, oh, if you're not for abortion, balls to the walls, then you're anti-woman. They're not allowing us to get into that conversation that this is human life. This is affecting human life. This is affecting generations. Now it's just, okay, if they're unwanted, they're unwanted. Well, then why are we at the point where, okay, it's just a convenience to women? It's not. And where is the father? The father is nowhere in this, predicament. Women are just being the ultimate victim if we don't allow them to have abortion, and the men have no say-so. Now, where do we find any consistency there?
Thanks for the call, Patty. It's not that we're not being allowed to have that conversation. They're choosing not to have it. That's what happened yesterday, the House Republicans. Yeah, we should have that conversation specifically, very specifically. 69% of U.S. births to unmarried women in 2017, black. Percentage of U.S. births to unmarried women by race, 69% of births to black women unmarried.
That's a huge number.
And so that's who Planned Parenthood targets. That's who they target. Number one, you don't necessarily have a man in that woman/baby's life. And to the extent you do, she could be afraid. Disproportionately likely to be in the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder. That's just the data. So how am I going to handle this? Who's going to help me? And there's Planned Parenthood with a helpful hand to bring you into the mill. Tom in Deer Park.
I saw a picture tweeted out last night by the Illinois Democratic Party, and in it were all the females in the House in that caucus that voted for it. There were no men in the picture. And in that picture, I stared at it. Our representative, Mary L.D. Allen, was in it. And they all had a very joyous look on their faces, the smug self-satisfaction of this victory. And I want to ask you a question. I couldn't help think that if the pro-slavery Confederates had snapped a picture on the eve of the Civil War, would the looks on their faces have been the same? And is that a good analogy?
Thanks for the call, Tom. I'll tell you, who else celebrated that? That pro-lifer who's the Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan. Pro-lifer. Been running that scam for 50 years, these guys like Cullerton and Madigan and Burke, the good Irish Catholics that say they're pro-life. I remember being in a meeting with Madigan, actually, with Reverend Scott and Janet Willis and Jill Stanek about Choose Life license plates to voluntarily support adoption service providers in Illinois.
What happened?
Mike Madigan, who wasn't talking to me, he was talking to Reverend Scott and Janet Willis, because that's the only reason we got the meeting. These are, remember, the family that lost
six
kids.
6 kids in that accident on I-94.
He said, I adopted Lisa, Mike Madigan said. I said, well, that's great, Speaker. Then you'll be happy to support this pro-adoption initiative. Never got out of committee. The pro-life, pro-adoption, reasonable left, and their transactional crime bosses from Chicago.
They wouldn't even let you get a license plate?
The specialty plate.
Specialty plate, no?
Didn't go anywhere. Not going to do that. You think Mike Madigan, or at the time the Senate President Emil Jones, are going to engender the ire of the ghouls, the Planned Parenthood lobby in the General Assembly, by providing a path for people to voluntarily support adoption service providers in Illinois, pregnancy care centers in Illinois? Of course not. That cuts into Planned Parenthood's bottom line. Cuts in. Good description for Planned Parenthood, isn't it?
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Tell me if this is you. There's an outdoor project that you've been wanting to get done, but you just don't have the time or patience to deal with unprofessional contractors. It's a common theme of frustration. You need AM Woodland Outdoor Design for a professional design and a team that will show up on time to get the job done. They'll even let you know throughout the project how everything's going. Imagine that. When you're ready to liven up your curb appeal or completely redesign your outdoor living space, the perfect solution? AM Woodland Design. With so many landscape contractor options to choose from, use a team that shares your values of hard work, honesty, integrity, and patriotism. AM Woodland Outdoor Design proudly sponsors Food for the Poor as a business benefactor and would be honored to work with you.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
It's happening to you every night. One snores and the other can't sleep. But now, there is a quick and easy-to-use solution, a natural solution. Snore Stop, the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S.
Thank you, Snore Stop. You saved my marriage.
It's time to try Snore Stop and make every night a better night for both of you. Spray or tablets are available today at Rite Aid and CVS or online at snorestop.com.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Tornadoes leave more people homeless. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Kansas City area hit hard on a 12th straight day of at least 8 tornadoes reported to the National Weather Service.
And I could feel the air moving the walls, and I could feel air coming from above. And then all of a sudden I heard stuff flying around up above me. My walls and my furniture and what have you.
He's in Lawrence, where at least 12 people were hospitalized. Linwood, other communities in Kansas also have a lot of damage. There's also storm, maybe tornado damage in New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Cars were picked up and tossed. Just a miracle that nobody not only was killed, but nobody's hurt when you look at all the damage around here. This house really completely devastated. Cars are the ones that look like they've been in car accidents, but the houses look like they were hit by cars.
Steve Keeley with Fox 29 in Morgantown. 4 people are dead in Virginia after a church van was hit by a truck on a highway last night, then flipped over several times. 7 others in that van were injured, so was the truck's driver. Now that President Trump's back from Japan, Joe Biden, the Democratic presidential frontrunner, responds to what the president said there.
Kim Jong-un made a statement that Joe Biden is a low IQ individual. He probably is, based on his record.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, at a fundraiser in Houston, the former vice president said he's not going to get down in the mud wrestling with this fella, referring to the president agreeing with the North Korean leader, that the statement that Biden is a low IQ idiot. Earlier, an aide released a statement blasting President Trump for siding with a murderous dictator on foreign soil on Memorial Day. The president tweeted that he was actually sticking up for Biden, writing that he related Kim's quote as a much softer, low IQ individual who could be upset with that. Dave.
Rachel, the case against a Navy SEAL charged with murdering an Iraqi prisoner in 2017 goes to court today, trying to get the charges dropped. This is Fox News.
Cloudy skies, light rain showers, 54 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation continues this hour after the brother of a fugitive wanted in the killing of a teen boy was shot and killed himself by Chicago police on the south side. Authorities say officers were trying to arrest that man inside of a car near 81st and South Chapel when he pulled a handgun and was shot by officers. The man has been identified as Curtis Stager, the brother of the man wanted in the deadly shooting. The teen, Jalen Elzy, was killed in a drive-by attack earlier this month. Chicago police continue investigating after a mother was shot and killed while holding her baby in the Austin neighborhood. Authorities say Brittany Hill was holding her 1-year-old daughter outside of a vehicle yesterday when 2 males jumped out of another car and shot her multiple times. Hill tried to hide behind other parked vehicles while shielding the baby. She later died. The child was not injured. Mayor Lightfoot laying out her priorities, she says, for her first 100 days in office.
In the first 100 days, we'll push for more sweeping ethics reforms, like making sure no elected official can monetize their position for personal gain.
Lightfoot talking about her goals at the City Club. She's about to preside over her first Chicago City Council meeting. Meantime, the new mayor is choosing a former city clerk and longtime Democratic political operative and a mayoral challenger to serve as president of the Chicago Board of Education. Sun-Times says the mayor has selected Miguel DeValle. DeValle would be somewhat of a caretaker, as Lightfoot's wish of an elected school board is still taking shape. Lucas Giolito struck out 10, won his fifth straight start. White Sox beat the Royals 4-3 at Guaranteed Rate Field. Yolmer Sanchez's ninth-inning RBI single gave the Sox a 2-1 win over the Royals in the earlier completion of Monday's suspended game. Astros outslugged the Cubs 9-6 in Houston, that in spite of 5 Northside home runs. The news is a service of Sprint. See how you can get an unlimited plan with one of the newest phones included for one low price. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1 to learn how you can switch to a Sprint unlimited plan today. 6:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's Health Quest Radio, Chicagoland's longest-running health, news, and science show with your host, Dr. David Kolbaba.
You know, people who age slower live longer. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. We can compare your biologic age with your chronologic age to determine how fast you're aging. Just a few seconds to safely scan for those advanced glycation end products that cause premature aging. And I'll pay for your first assessment. That's right, your first one is free. Then we'll give you a few things to do and retest in 60 days. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. But you gotta call our Health Quest radio hotline at 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. First one free if you make that call right now. Some conditions and restrictions to apply. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. Call 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio.
Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-973-7700. 800-973-7700.
Optima Tax Relief.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined, and Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings and energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in better and safer working conditions. Find out how much your commercial business or public sector facility can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call them directly at 708-609-0784 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
Account Temps. Do you need accounting and finance professionals to help for the duration of your long-term or recurring projects? Turn to their salaried professional service for exclusive access to their hard-to-find talent. Visit AccountTemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company.
6:08 and a check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
North of downtown Chicago, there's a crash with injuries. Chicago Avenue and Lake Shore Drive and Orland Park Southwest Highway is closed due to flooding at 135th and 143rd. The northbound Tri-State Tollway has heavy delays from the Stevenson Expressway to the Reagan Tollway. The ramp to westbound 88 is blocked right now with a crash. Reagan Tollway has stop-and-go traffic. 83 to the Tri-State. Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower, 39 minutes. 390 to downtown. How about 44? Crash at Wolf Road in the right lane. Stevenson, 55 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 22 minutes. 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. It comes to us from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center's Steve Williams.
Skies will be mostly cloudy today. Shower and thunderstorm around, the high 69. Cloudy tonight, shower and thunderstorm late, low 56. Cloudy with a shower and thunderstorm for tomorrow as well, the high tomorrow 71. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Chilly and damp, 52 right now at O'Hare, 50 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, luxury outdoor living. amwoodland.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Should Martin Luther King be removed from American history? Should his legacy fighting for civil rights be expunged per the new protocol of the left? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Why would I even ask the question, you ask? Secret FBI tapes suggest Martin Luther King Jr. had many extramarital affairs, 40 to 45 women, and even, here's the kicker,
A lot of children.
even looked on and laughed as a pastor friend raped a parishioner. According to David Garrow, David Garrow is no antagonist of Martin Luther King Jr. or the Civil Rights Movement. In point of fact, David Garrow won a Pulitzer Prize for his 1987 biography on Martin Luther King called Bearing the Cross. These are FBI tapes unearthed by Garrow. These were compiled under J. Edgar Hoover's FBI, who routinely and illicitly and illegally spied on Americans, including King Jr. and other civil rights leaders, in an effort to establish links between political opponents of his and the Communist Party, the squirrely, disreputable figure that he was. Martin Luther King Jr. married Coretta Scott in 1953, said to have carried out numerous affairs with dozens of women during his lifetime. The civil rights hero pictured with his wife Coretta in this piece in the Daily Mail that's recounting what Garrow unearthed, said to be heard joking he was the founder of the International Association for the Advancement of Blank Eaters. The FBI surveillance tapes detailing his indiscretions were being held in a vault at the National Archives. They're not due for release until 2027.
2027, okay.
Yes. But according to FBI records, the particulars about King, the allegations against King, were communicated to LBJ. And again, even Nixon didn't fire Hoover because he thought Hoover had too much dirt on him. Hoover, this is not in any way to legitimize J. Edgar Hoover's FBI. J. Edgar Hoover went after Charlie Chaplin, Malcolm X, Hemingway, Muhammad Ali, John Lennon. I mean,
the list goes on and on.
Right. Garrow tells how, in this article to be published in Standpoint, Garrow tells how the FBI planted transmitters and 2 lamps in the hotel rooms booked by King in January of '64. He ordered the surveillance of King, as I said, in an effort to undermine King's power amid unfounded fears, I would add, that King could have links to the Communist Party. He, as I said, a number of civil rights leaders were also bugged by the FBI. The recording from a Willard Hotel near the White House shows how King was accompanied by his friend Logan Kearse, a pastor at Baltimore's Cornerstone Baptist Church, along with several female pastors of his church. In King's hotel room, the files claim they then discussed which women among the parishioners would be suitable for natural and unnatural sex acts, quote unquote.
And it's there that they said that they participated in a sex orgy and described the acts as degeneracy and depravity. And when one tried to turn away, she didn't want to participate. According to these FBI tapes, King told her that this act would help her soul to try and keep her in the room. Yeah, and that's the same place the night before where he watched his Baptist minister friend forcibly rape a woman.
Garrow said of his review of this archival material, it poses so fundamental a challenge to his historical stature as to require the most complete and extensive historical review possible. Well?
It sounds like a Me Too moment to me.
Well, what do you say? What do you say about it? Do you want to know the truth about individuals that achieved seminal things in their life on this planet and in this country, who changed America for the better, as Martin Luther King certainly did? Do you want to know? And what should we do about them? What should we do about...
well, what about his statue in Washington, D.C. at our nation's capital?
What should we do about that?
Do we take it down? Do we chisel him out of the rock, his image that so beautifully stands there?
What should we do about men or women, but mostly we're talking about men here, of course, in the Me Too era. What should we do about men who achieved great things, who moved the country in a positive direction in many ways, but who were also flawed and did some things that nobody would defend, and perhaps in retrospect they wouldn't either? You know, how do you deal with sinners is sort of the question. And then there's levels of sin, I understand.
I mean, we all knew that he was, growing up, I was very familiar with the fact that he had other women in his life. Because remember, kids would come forward saying he fathered, he's my real father. And
long rumored.
But these FBI tapes revealed that he had affairs with 40 women. But the part that gets me is that he looked on and laughed as his pastor friend allegedly raped a parishioner in a hotel room. That's an uncomfortable area for me personally.
What do you think?
Unforgivable and it's unforgettable too. That's the problem. So what are we going to do about it? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. We've erased other people's careers. Kevin Spacey.
Well, right. I wouldn't put. I get what you're saying. I mean, we're not comparing actors to Martin Luther King, of course, in terms of their importance. But I mean, think about historical figures. I mean, there's a movement to expunge George Washington from.
Oh, because he owned slaves.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to do?
I don't want to hear the tapes. I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did such great work for the civil rights movement that you just...
I don't know. I mean, is there a balancing test here, or are we absolutists? Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Okay, I have 2 points I want to make. Amy, what would Dennis Prager say? Prager would say, has Martin Luther King done more good in the world, or has he done more evil? Forget about what a man does with his personal life. People are flawed. That's why God made him that way. But has he done more good or has he done more evil? The second point I want to make is the left would love nothing more than to smear Martin Luther King because, first of all, he was a godly man. And secondly, he they want like the Black liberation theology. They don't. I believe they want to erase somebody like Martin Luther King eventually, because they don't want a peaceful movement. And that's my opinion.
Thanks for the call, Candace. I mean, what about it? You know, Tony Robbins,
Oh, boy.
this first
Little
time,
handsy himself.
first time and last time I'll ever mention Tony Robbins and Martin Luther King in the same sentence. But we're talking about the Me Too era, and I'm just saying it's easy to take apart other people, take apart actors, take apart Tony Robbins, this self-help guru. I never quite got this whole craze, but okay. BuzzFeed has done a number of exposés on him in the last week, and the
I've been reading those articles.
The allegations are untoward conduct against as many as 9 women, staff, fans over the years. Also, there's this video that has surfaced from the 1980s. He's doing one of his self-help sessions, and he repeatedly uses the N-word. But you really have to see the context. I'm not defending it. It's sort of weird. I mean, it's not sort of weird. It's weird. But the point, he's trying to use this as like, I engaged with this black militant in one of my classes, and you know, he uses like how they use like the honky to describe whites and N to describe blacks, and it was his sort of tortured way of getting people in the class to move beyond race. This is the argument that he would make. So you have to look at it in context. But I mean, it's easy to take apart people, and some unquestionably deserve it, and some it's a little bit of a question mark, and some have been frankly exonerated.
Should we be a little bit more charitable to those who came before us?
Jeffrey Rush, the actor, just got a $1.5 million defamation.
Oh, that's right.
Judgment in his behalf against allegations of Me Too-ism. So what about historical figures, statues, people who have made an indelible mark on the country? And again, to Candace and her Prager-inspired balancing test, who've done more good than evil, particularly transcendental good beyond themselves or their individual interests, like King did. How do you deal with it? Where do you draw lines? What's the standard? Question I always ask about these things. What's the standard that we can apply with some equanimity? Frank in Naperville.
You know, we just do like they do in sports. You just put an asterisk by somebody's name when there's questionable things.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Frank. Then there would be an asterisk by everyone's name in the record books, wouldn't there? Who hasn't done questionable things?
Yeah, we're all broken. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean, and you know, beyond that, we all willfully commit sin. It's not like, oh, accident, it happened to me. No, you did it. So everybody has an asterisk. Well, then what's the point of an asterisk? Philip in Blue Island.
It's kind of funny. I mean, the King family did win a lawsuit against the United States government, i.e. the FBI and all the rest of their intelligence agency with wrongful death, and they got a pretty big settlement. With J. Edgar Hoover being the cross-dressing homosexual that he was, and the fact that they were sending letters and phone calls to King himself talking about, you know, commit suicide and all these different things. So
nobody's defending J. Edgar Hoover.
I'm just saying this guy who's writing this. Well, you say he was writing good stuff before, and now he's writing bad stuff.
He wrote a book in 1987 about Martin Luther King Jr. and he
won a Pulitzer Prize for it. And he's not writing bad stuff. He has unearthed this archival information, and he's bringing it forward.
Okay, but again, the information that he's getting is from the FBI, which is suspect. I mean, the whole thing.
Fine.
I mean, they did
Fine,
lose.
it's suspect.
No, they did. They tapped his hotel room.
Fine, let's find it suspect, Philip. We make judgment calls, certainly in the public arena, on suspect information all the time. To wit, the Steele dossier. So it's suspect. Let's say it. Maybe it's not true. I'll concede the point. I've never said it is. So what if it is? What should we do?
What if it is?
Yeah, what if it
well,
is?
I mean, we need to find out first before we can even deal
No,
with that
why?
question.
Why?
In my mind.
Why? Why can't we play
why
out the
would-
standard? What's the standard?
Why would you? I mean, to prove a lie, you know that whole scenario. Come on now. So we need to just deal with the truth. Why deal with a lie, especially the source? If you don't look at the FBI as a source of false information, or making up information, or having the intelligence to make it fictitious and make a truth the lie. So I mean, I don't believe anything the FBI has to say about Dr. King and the rest of the movement. I mean, they're the same ones who killed Medgar Evers and Medgar Evers, of course, Mark Clark and Fred Hampton. This is the same organization that's been killing black folks and defaming black folks for centuries. So, at least a century. Yeah. So, that just goes to show you.
All right, thanks for the call, Philip. I mean, this is sort of the point, right? We have our sacred cows, don't we? Don't we? We have our sacred cows, and we like to apply different standards to people that we like versus people we don't. And that's how you generate a society where men rule rather than the law rules. And that's how society starts to come apart at the seams, and that's why ours is.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Want to golf with us? You can. Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. And many of you have asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf with you? Absolutely not. Anyone can join us. We have a 2 p.m. afternoon shotgun start. It's a scrambles format. It's going to be great. Call this number, 312-363, 6680. Again, that's 312-363-6680 to reserve your foursome. Again, anyone can join us for a great day of golf. The proceeds benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. And also, if you own a business, you can purchase a foursome for $1,196, and we'll give you 25 60-second commercials. It's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. So call today to reserve your foursome, 312-363-6680, or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear from Jim, who just completed a no-cost refinance with Townstone Financial.
I would recommend Townstone to anybody, and I do. I always knew where we were. I knew the dates. I knew when I had to have information. There was no fire drills. The overall experience was, off the charts. I've not experienced, there's very few companies that I've encountered that really deliver that customer experience, and that's what sets you guys apart, hands down.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, NMLS 136639, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org, equal housing lender.
Feeling run down, feeling tired, maybe you're sore from playing golf or biking or running, well, then you should try Balance of Nature. It's 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies in a single capsule. It's really the easiest way to get all of your fruits and veggies in your diet. So stop waiting to try Balance of Nature. You know, thousands of people are taking it, including me, and we're enjoying healthier, more active lifestyles. Now, I know you've heard the stories here on the air. Those stories are real. And guess what? The next story could be yours. Get healthy this summer with Balance of Nature. And right now, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on their first order of Balance of Nature. But you've got to call. Here's the number, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or simply go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and my good friend Mike Lindell, you know, the MyPillow guy, has authorized me to make the best offer ever on radio, TV, or in store. For a limited time only, you can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for only $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow, the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. If you don't own a MyPillow yet, or already know why this is the pillow everybody wants and loves because you have one, then get the best deal ever. And by the way, you can still get 30% off pet beds, mattress toppers, and those Giza cotton sheets that I love. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever of 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, or MyPillow.com. Use promo code Amy.
Visit MyPillow.com.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can call Crumweedy. Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy, call Crumweedy. That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what the problem in the Chicago public school system is? It's 85% minority. You know what the problem is?
What?
White supremacy at 636.
And later, workplace burnout. It's now officially a disease. We'll give you the symptoms. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
54 degrees, cloudy skies, and rain showers, and damage cleanup is underway in Kansas.
We saw the wind pick up, and when the rain started to come down, the wind almost shifted directions on us.
Corey Williams lives in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, where damage cleanup is underway after large tornadoes touched down near Kansas City.
The storm was coming from the west, and the next thing we know, the wind started coming from the east, and that's when the debris really started to fly across from one side of our yard to the other.
Another tornado touched down near Lawrence, Kansas, tearing a path of destruction northeast into the Kansas City suburbs. Folks in northwest New Jersey waking up to major storm damage after possible tornadoes touched down last night near the town of Stanhope.
It was definitely like a rush type noise that we heard. We all went down into the basement.
Trees fell on my fences. Patio furniture has toppled over. Umbrellas broke.
Flooding along the Mississippi River is approaching historic levels today. Flooding in at least 8 states, the longest lasting since the Great Flood of 1927. 2 Republican congressmen are parting company with President Trump, but only for taking a shot at a Democratic candidate for president while in Japan. Pete King of New York and Adam Kinzinger of Illinois say it was wrong for Trump to agree with Kim Jong-un and take a shot at former Vice President Joe Biden. Louisiana House lawmakers could vote on a fetal heartbeat abortion bill later today. The bill, presented by Democrats, does not outline any exceptions for victims of rape or incest. Facebook and Instagram are no longer in use by the popular workout program CrossFit. The decision came after Facebook deleted a group called Banting 7-Day Meal Plan, dedicated to unprocessed, additive-free food. The group has since been restored, but CrossFit still left the platform last week, citing censorship issues. Chicago police are investigating after a mother was shot and killed holding her baby in the Austin neighborhood. Brittany Hill died while trying to hide her baby from two men who jumped out of a car and shot her multiple times. The mother died later at a nearby hospital while the child was not injured. Authorities are investigating after the brother of the founder of the Mariano's grocery store chain was found dead in Schaumburg. Joseph Mariano's body was discovered early Sunday. The former Arlington Heights police officer and juvenile detective was the brother of Mariano's founder and former CEO Bob Mariano. Chicago sports. White Sox beat the Royals twice, 4-3 in Game 2 at Guaranteed Rate Field, and finishing off Monday's suspended game, Yolmer Sanchez with an RBI single in the ninth and a 2-1 White Sox win. Astros beat the Cubs 9-6 in Houston. The news is a service of Accountemps. Do you need accounting and finance professionals to help for the duration of your long-term or reoccurring projects? Turn to their salary professional service for exclusive access to their hard-to-find talent. Visit Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Hannity Show.
There are now presidential candidates buying into all of this. You know, getting rid of oil and gas, getting rid of the combustion engine. They've all lost their minds. It's not just Ocasio-Cortez. You got at least 100 of these House lunatics that are advocating free guaranteed job, free government Medicare for all, but you can't buy private insurance.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, fundamental? Did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
The northbound Tri-State Tollway is jammed. 95th Street to the Reagan Tollway. The ramp to westbound 88 has reopened after a crash. Eastbound Reagan Tollway is heavy. 83 to the Tri-State. The Edens is running 22 minutes late Cook to the junction. The Kennedy, it's 29 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26. Got Eisenhower. Delays start around Manheim. 40 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 46. With a crash at Wolf Road in the right lane. Stevenson is 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 43 for the Tri-State. Ryan, it's 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop 426. Lakeshore Drive has cleared up after a wreck near Chicago Avenue. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. From our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy, showers, maybe a thunderstorm today, high 69. Currently 52. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Problems in the big urban school systems like in New York and Chicago. You know what the big problem is? The overriding problem.
What?
White supremacy.
More so than lack of funding?
Lack of funding is not a problem, although that, of course, you're right. They say it is.
They say it is.
85% of the Chicago public school system, minority students.
85%? Okay.
I believe Janice Jackson.
Jackson, if you're nasty.
That's right. Miss Jackson.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
I believe she is African-American female. Big problem there, CPS? White supremacy. CPS teachers sign up for this program, Unpacking the Effects of White Supremacy, at CTU Local 1 on June 5th and June 12th. Click here for info and to sign up, one of the instructors tweeted.
White supremacy? What are they talking about?
Let's see. Attendees will focus on why race should be taught in the classroom by addressing topics of race, practicing activities, and reading material from experts on the topic. Oh, I can't wait to see what the experts. I know who they are.
Who are the guest speakers?
Yeah, we'll get to those. Teachers will also analyze the effects of teaching these topics to both students of color and white students. Less than 15%.
Yeah.
Participants will collaborate, discuss, and analyze several resources to develop best practices on how to teach about race. Big problem in K through 12 education: white supremacy. Agree? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And lest you think that this is just a Chicago issue. Of course, Chicago didn't come up with this. New York did. Chicago just follows suit.
Well, we always do what they do.
Richard Carranza is a schools chancellor in New York City. And they are, the city's Department of Education has launched a $23 million program to dismantle white supremacy culture in New York City public schools. Yeah. Here's a quote from one consultant hired by the city to train school supervisors on spotting discrimination and achieving equality. Her name is Darnisa Amante. If I had a poor white male student and I had a middle-class black boy, I would actually put my equitable strategies and interventions into the middle-class black boy because over the course of his lifetime, he will have less access and less opportunities than that poor white boy. That's what racial equity is. You understand what it is now? It's not about poverty, it's about race. It's not about opportunity, it's about race. It's not about achievement, it's about race. Everything's about race. And then you get throw in some of the other intersectionality categories of gender identification and orientation and the like. But ultimately, it all really comes back to race. That's the big one. Agree with that? Oh, by the way, Asian students, Asian families.
How do they fit in all this?
They're a problem as well. Got a problem with Asian students. This city Department of Education in New York, that's focused on eliminating the white supremacy culture. The problem with Asians is they benefit from white supremacy because of their, quote, proximity to white privilege. Proximity to white privilege. Now, you don't have to be white to benefit from white privilege. You just have to be close to it.
You could be Asian. This is ridiculous. What a colossal waste of time and money. And resources. It reminds me of the Soups Academy when they had the principal training day when they had to sit around in a circle and talk about their feelings. And really what they were doing is lining Barbara Bird Bennett's pockets.
Hey, Asians, you're too close to the white privilege. Get away from the white privilege.
Back.
Hey, arm's length apart from the whiteys. Otherwise, you're going to catch their privilege.
Are you catching it?
DeRoy Murdoch was on with Tucker Carlson last night to talk about this. DeRoy Murdoch, contributing editor at National Review. African-American gentleman, if you're not familiar with his work, and you should be.
This is not Selma, Alabama in 1965, where you might say, look, this is a really inherent problem. We got to root this out. I mean, this is New York City. These are people who probably voted for Hillary Clinton. They probably burst into tears when Donald Trump won. These are members of the teachers union, members of the principals unions. I mean, these are probably some of the most racially correct people in the United States of America. And yet my taxpayer dollars, $23 million for this program, are being spent to root out the inner Jim Crow and inner Klansmen inside these people. It's really astonishing. And by the way, the price of a new teacher in New York City is about $57,000 per year. For the price of this program, we could get 405 brand new teachers to educate students, black, white, Hispanic, and otherwise, and actually maybe do some good for them as opposed to chase these racial ghosts through the 5 boroughs of New York City.
Is DeRoy Murdoch right, or DeRoy Murdoch, is he right, or is Richard Carranza and Darnisa Amante and the teachers union race-obsessed establishment right in Chicago, in New York, oh, by the way, in Evanston, in Naperville? You think this is limited to big cities? Are you paying attention to your local schools? Darnisa Amante, the one who said, if I had the poor white boy versus the middle-class black boy, I'd put my equitable strategies in the middle-class black boy.
Yeah.
Oh, she was retained by Evanston Skokie School District 65 to present. Oh, yeah. I've got a copy of her PowerPoint here. Going through things like themes, microaggressions, and message. How you decode the whiteys and their conspiratorial language to impose their privilege on you. When Asian Americans and Latino Americans are assumed to be foreign-born. Asian Americans, get away. Would you get away from the... You're too close to whitey. Run away.
Run fast.
If you're an Asian kid, hey, look, and you're in CPS or NYC public schools, just, find a black kid or a Latino kid to stand next to. When Asian Americans, Latino Americans are assumed to be foreign-born, the microaggression, where are you from? Where were you born? You speak English? The message, you're not an American, you're a foreigner.
I always ask people where they're from. Oh. Debbie, HR director.
That's, why?
Why?
Because of your fear of the other.
No, because I've lived all over the place. I just want to know, what part of the country they're from. I'm not assuming.
There are no innocent questions.
Illegal.
There are no innocent questions from Swedes. Assigning intelligence, ascription of intelligence, that's the theme. Alien in your own land, that's theme 1. Ascription of intelligence. This is her PowerPoint presentation, Darnisa Amante. Assigning intelligence to a person of color on the basis of their race. You're a credit to your race. You're so articulate. Well, that's Joe Biden. So, hey, don't blame us. We don't talk like that, conservatives. Asking an Asian person to help with a math or science problem. The message, people of color are generally not as intelligent as whites. It's unusual for someone of your race to be intelligent. All Asians are intelligent and good in math and sciences. Mm-hmm. Boy, I tell you what, I hope Darnisa Amante never saw White Men Can't Jump. I'm sure she would have been offended by that film. Yeah. Color blindness, another theme. Statements that indicate that a white person does not want to acknowledge race. You mean like Martin Luther King didn't want to? When I look at you, I don't see color. America's a melting pot. There is only one race, the human race. Those are microaggressions. Saying America's a melting pot is a microaggression. Not seeing color means seeing it, but not making decisions based on is what people mean when they say that. That's a microaggression. There's only one race, the human race. Those sort of statements of unity, microaggressions. Hello, you're denying a person of color's racial and ethnic experiences. You're demanding they assimilate to the dominant culture. You're denying the individual as a racial cultural being. Last theme, the assumption of criminal status. A person of color is presumed to be dangerous, criminal, or deviant on the basis of their race.
What year is this? Seriously.
But enough about Jesse Jackson Sr. and his fear of black kids when he's walking alone on the street.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, enough about Jesse Jackson Sr. A white man or woman clutching their purse or checking their wallet as a black or Latino approaches.
Oh, my God.
A store owner finding the customer of color around a white person waiting for the next elevator when a person of color is on it. Yeah, okay. You're a criminal. You're not going to steal. You're poor. You do not belong. You are dangerous. That's the message.
If I see a crazy person approaching my car, I lock my car door. I don't see color. I just see crazy.
This $23 million gambit to eliminate white supremacy culture in New York City. They have definitions. White supremacy culture. 14 phrases that are defined that extend white supremacy culture and marginalize minorities. Sort of building off of what you heard Darnisa Monte present to Evanston District 65. Naperville 203, they've got a diversity leader. They're putting a new curriculum. Naperville, hello. Hey, Naperville. How you doing? You got a white privilege problem. And you may even have a proximity to white privilege problem with your Asian students. You need Darnisa Amante and Richard Carranza to come in and expunge the white supremacy culture, don't you?
They have a diversity director at Naperville North, Naperville Central?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Must be a boring job.
You know what white supremacy culture is? Exemplifies white supremacy culture? Perfectionism. Getting undue focus to the shortcomings in someone or their work. Viewing them as personal flaws. The difference between making a mistake and being a mistake. How about sense of urgency? Prioritizing short-term results without considering long-term implications. For example, sacrificing interests of communities of color in order to win victories for white people. I still don't know what it means, even after you defined it. Okay. Defensiveness. When white people, often in power, are defensive of new ideas solely for fear they might shake things up. Oh, you mean like the entire electorate in Illinois? Worship of the written word. That's indicative of white supremacy culture. The idea prioritizes documentation and writing skills rather than the ability to relate.
Oh.
He's so relatable. He can't read or write, but he's very relatable.
You know why they're doing this? Because the 2020 election's right around the corner.
You know why they're doing this? Because they're not playing for the 2020 election. They're playing for the next generation and the generation beyond that. While too many conservatives have been playing for the next election, the identity politics, cultural Marxist left has consumed these institutions that formerly used to educate children, all of the cultural institutions. All the institutions that drive culture. We talk about, so many Republicans, conservatives, ignore culture, talk about pocketbook issues solely, look at the next election. Meanwhile, they're playing the long game. And that's why they're winning. Mike in Downers Grove.
Okay, I'm the guy you want to talk to here. I am the first person since the 1800s in my family that came from Germany and Mexico not to graduate from the Chicago public schools. How is it that people could come from Germany and Mexico, and guess what? Everybody spoke English in the public schools when my ancestors came through the Chicago public school system. Okay, black kids, white kids, Mexican kids, Italian kids, didn't make a damn bit of difference. Croatian kids, everybody spoke English. Guess what? There was discipline in the public schools. Nobody gave a rat's behind about your self-esteem. When I went to the University of Illinois and the University of Chicago after that, nobody gave a damn a rat's behind about my self-esteem. When Lori Lightfoot went to the University of Chicago Light School and the University of Michigan, nobody cared about her self-esteem. And I bet you she didn't take one course on cross-racial BS, white privilege, bunch of garbage. There's no discipline in the Chicago public schools. Why is it that the Chicago public schools can have outstanding basketball and football programs in some of the worst freaking schools in the city? Guess what? Those teams have discipline. There's no discipline in the class, okay? You can't teach kids anything without instilling discipline and without treating them like as seriously in class as you are in sports. And the other thing is, when my dad came here from Mexico as a little kid, you went to school, you spoke English. You didn't know how to speak English. Guess what? They hold you back. Everybody learned English in about a year. Then they went through the Depression together. Then they went through the Second World War and fought together as Americans. So there's patriotism, there's discipline, there's, accepting, having standards and not making excuses because this little kid didn't know who his father was and he came from Mexico and he's part of a litter of and I'm one of a litter of 64 grandchildren here. I got pulled out of the Chicago schools because my teachers didn't care at Fort Dearborn on the south side. God saved me. I was put in a private school, went to University of Illinois, did just fine, okay? But every one of my ancestors, not many of them didn't go to college, but they got a good basic education in the Chicago public schools.
Yeah.
Okay, which was possible. And I know black people, white people, Mexican people, all prior generations where you had discipline in the schools. And, there's a couple little extra bonuses. You had faith. In my second grade class in Chicago public schools when Kennedy was shot, my Irish Catholic teacher prayed with us. Okay? She'd be crucified today for that sort of thing.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. It's a good perspective on how the schools have changed. This is not about being anti-public schools in Chicago. It's about the nature of the instruction in the modern era. It doesn't have to be this way. Wasn't always this way. There's nothing inexorable about it. It's what we've conceded. Great call. Deborah in Arlington Heights.
I'd like to know how we're ever supposed to heal from any of this. Continue with this, and I would like to bring up.
Deborah, sorry, we're cutting out on you. Mike on the north side.
Nice going, Dan. You're letting out our secret. Now they're all going to be onto us. We're trying to indoctrinate these people. That's why we keep showing reruns of Seinfeld and Everybody Loves Raymond, trying to make these people sponge-worthy, dress them up in Dockers and golf shirts and send them to Blackhawk games. We're trying to make these, trying to take over and keep even the Asian people are walking around with Patrick Kane jerseys, but you're going to blow it all now. And these people are going to start thinking for themselves and voting for themselves, and they're just going to ruin it. We got to take the country over because we've never had a white president before, and you're going to ruin it now. Thanks a lot, Dan. And Amy, that was me walking over to say hello to you and Bunky. You didn't have to mace me and call the police.
Thanks, Mike. Yes, you did.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Sports Illustrated sold. Fiat Chrysler and Renault merger likely. Beyond Meat expanding overseas. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Dennis Prager. In addition to radio, I have spent years, actually decades, in a classroom teaching the Torah. The class was called Dennis Teaches the Torah. I took all 5 books and explained fascinating details that most people had not seen before. Every lecture, every class, for every book was recorded over 250 hours, and it was made available to the public. In the Prager store, you can now buy the complete Torah teachings. You'll hear and learn what the students in the classroom heard and learned. You can listen on your phone, iPad, laptop. To celebrate the release of the new volume of the Rational Bible, Genesis, The Prager Store is offering all of my Torah teachings for 50% off and giving away a free autographed copy of the new book. Go to PragerStore.com or click the banner at DennisPrager.com.
Sports Illustrated magazine sold for $110 million to Authentic Brands. Authentic Brands, a company that markets rights for Shaquille O'Neal and Muhammad Ali, among others. The Meredith Corporation, SI's current owner, will continue operating the print edition for the next 2 years. With a merger seeming more likely between Fiat Chrysler and Renault, auto industry analysts are expecting at least some other consolidation efforts to be in the offing. The combined assets of the two car makers would create a company valued at around $37 billion and the third largest in the world. California-based Beyond Meat is opening its first production facility outside the United States. The plant-based burger company plans to open a factory in the Netherlands. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
If you have pain, listen up, Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Dozens of homes are all gone. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what the mayor of Linwood, Kansas says after a tornado ripped through. Lawrence also got hit hard.
Well, I'm feeling pretty sad right now. I don't have a home right now to go to right now.
At least 12 people were hospitalized. Areas of New Jersey and Pennsylvania also have storm damage.
We have severe window damage, roofs ripped off, trees on top of cars, no electric, no gas.
She's in Berks County, Pennsylvania. It's the 12th straight day with at least 8 tornadoes reported to the National Weather Service. Now that President Trump's back from Japan, Joe Biden, the Democratic 2020 frontrunner, is reacting to what was said about him. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, beneath the dignity of the office. That's how the Biden campaign describes the president agreeing with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's assessment that his 2020 rival is a low IQ individual. The former vice president kept quiet about President Trump's remarks during the state visit to Japan, but at a fundraiser in Houston last night, he says he's not going to get down into the mud wrestling with this fella. The president tweeted that he was sticking up for Biden, writing that leader Kim actually called him a low IQ idiot. Dave.
Rachel, Republican Congressman Justin Amash cheered at a town hall in Michigan for recently saying President Trump did commit an impeachable offense on obstruction. Amash says it's important
that we not allow misconduct to go undeterred, that we not just say someone can violate the public trust and that there are no consequences to it.
But one of his constituents asked, how come you've become a Democrat? Amash responded he remains a constitutional conservative. The president has called Amash a lightweight and a loser and maintains there was no obstruction. National Security Advisor John Bolton, who North Korea called a warmonger, is now in the Middle East, telling reporters in the United Arab Emirates Iran is almost certainly to blame for attacks on 4 oil tankers in the region. This is Fox News.
Skies are cloudy. We have 54 degrees. 7:02 in Chicago on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An investigation continues at this hour after the brother of a fugitive wanted in the killing of a teen boy was shot and killed himself by Chicago police on the south side. Authorities say officers were trying to arrest a man in a car near 81st and South Chapel when that man pulled a handgun on police and then was shot by officers. The man has been identified as Curtis Steger, the brother of the man wanted in the deadly shooting of Jalen Elzy. Mayor Lightfoot laying out her priorities for her first 100 days in office.
In the first 100 days, we'll push for more sweeping ethics reforms, like making sure no elected official can monetize their position for personal gain.
Speaking at the City Club, Mayor Lightfoot talked about her goals the day before she is to preside over her first Chicago City Council meeting. An expansive pro-abortion bill is moving through the Illinois Senate. Democrat Representative Kelly Cassidy introduced that bill. Meantime, the Reproductive Health Act passed the State House yesterday, wiping out 45 years of protections. Passionate arguments were made on both sides of the debate during the bill, which would allow women to get the procedure much later in their pregnancies. If the Senate approves in a concurrence vote, the bill will move on to Governor J.B. Pritzker's desk for possible signatures. A former veteran journalist for the Chicago Sun-Times and Chicago Daily News has died. Robert Herguth passed away Wednesday at an assisted living facility last Wednesday in Portland, Oregon. Visitation for the news writer is set for this Thursday at the Donnellan Family Funeral Home in Skokie. His funeral is scheduled for Friday morning at St. Francis Xavier Church in Wilmette. Herguth was 93. Lucas Giolito on fire again, striking out 10. White Sox beat the Royals 4-3 at Guaranteed Rate Field. That was Game 2 of the day. Game 1 was the finish of Monday's suspended game. That, too, goes to the White Sox. 2-1 winners over the Royals. Astros outslugged the Cubs 9-6 in Houston. For the Cubs, 5 home runs, including 2 by David Bodie, but not enough. The news service of Accountemps. Do you need accounting and finance professionals to help for the duration of your long-term or recurring projects? Turn to their salary professional service for exclusive access to their hard-to-find talent. Visit Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America, one life at a time.
All the years I spent with junky vitamins, it did nothing, and these vitamins are just like the best in the whole world. I don't take anything else other than them. When I first started, I was just very, always fatigued and tired. Within 2 days, I felt like a new person. I felt like I was in a different body. I listen all the time on the radio when I'm in the car with the commercials about Balance of Nature, and it's really true. Everything really, really works. So I am sold.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the #1 tax resolution firm, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-973-7700. 800-973-7700.
Optima Tax Relief.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray paint bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray.
7:08 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Northbound tri-state traffic is heavy from 115th and Ridgeland to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. The ramp to westbound 88 has reopened. The Reagan Tollway has stop-and-go traffic. 83 to the tri-state. Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. The eastbound spur is bottled up. Tri-state to the toll plaza. Kennedy, you get 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 19 from Montrose, 21 on the express. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Up on an hour and 5 minutes after a crash at Wolf Road. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes, ID to the merge, Mission 422. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy, showers, maybe a thunderstorm today, high 69. Currently 52. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and our friend Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board, had this fun little piece over the weekend about Chicago radio. She's a bit of a Chicago radio junkie, and she likes it local. She mentioned us. I listen to it all, she writes. WLS, where my friend Lauren Cohn handles afternoon news and traffic. Exactly, don't listen to the freaking morning show. Chicago's Morning Answer, AM 560 with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson, where I occasionally co-host.
Did she spell your name right?
She did get the spelling right.
That's the most important thing, Dan.
Yeah.
She spelled my name right?
She
with
did
an
spell
O,
your
not
name
an
right.
E.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is correct, right?
An O, not an
O,
E.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got a good Scandinavian sensibility.
Thank you.
VON with Maze Jackson and so on and so forth. But she's all worked up about country station hiring some out-of-towners. She sounds like an old ward boss. We don't want nobody sent. Before we get into the issues, let's talk a little bit about radio. Kristen McQuarrie, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Now, the question is, do you both know how to spell my name? It's much trickier.
Yes.
McQueary.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, you looked
Thank
at the
you.
show sheet, but okay. So what about what's this? I mean, we appreciate the shout out, of course, in your popular column. But what about what's this beef you have with piping in some out of towners?
Well, I also really like country music. So as I explained in the column, Chicago has 2 country music stations, and one of them last fall switched their format, so they have this kind of cheesy out of town group out of Nashville. You get, they kind of pipe in some local news, but this is Chicago. It's the 3rd biggest city for now. There is a lot of talent here, and there's no reason why we should have to be listening to this kind of goofy clown show out of Nashville. And they, by the way, didn't appreciate the column and talked about it. Talked about it yesterday. So I have some Bobby Bones supporters now emailing me and trying to tell me it's really a great show and give them a chance. And
does Bobby?
Bobby Bones. Is it his real name? I'm sure Bobby Bones.
It's his Christian name. Yeah. Does Bobby Bones know how to pronounce Paulina? That was your big issue. Did you put him to the test? Did he put himself to the test?
I didn't, but I do. I have a whole quiz. I think they want me to come to some event that they're having in August.
Oh, you got to go.
So this little back and forth might not be over. We'll see.
Good. All right. Very good.
Let me know if you take it to the streets. I'll come protest with you. 'Cause I'm a big country fan too, and I hate that. It's got to be local. That's the only way you can listen.
Okay, sure.
Now he thinks we're both weird.
No, I'm just,
Don't you like country music?
Well, yeah, and I get the whole idea of local. I mean, local-ish. I don't know. The city's so inside its own head. Speaking of which, let's talk about the political class, Kristen. I guess we'll start in the city. Lightfoot at the City Club yesterday, talking about her first 100 days, which sounded very similar to the vague generalities she offered at her inaugural speech, which sounded very similar to the vague generalities she offered during the campaign. So is anything other than managing the decline in the offing for the Lightfoot administration?
Well, I mean, no one is honest about the financial problems that the city faces. And one of my beefs with her right off the bat was that she did what everyone else does and comes in and acts surprised that the numbers are worse than she actually thought. I mean, this should be no surprise. There are books written about how terrible the finances are in the city of Chicago. And to think that any of these Democratic-led bodies have actually been passing balanced budgets, you must have fallen off the turnip truck last week. So I don't like that she's coming in sort of acting surprised at how bad the finances are. But I will say today is there will be a vote on her choice for committee chairman. And I know this sounds in the weeds, but it is important to have more reform-minded aldermen overseeing finance, budget, transportation. And she really did take down some of the old guard. You know, you had Mayor Daley for years, you had Rahm Emanuel, you still had the same people sitting in those powerful committee chairmanships, and she is putting up, it'll be an up or down vote to have her people now overseeing those committees.
And Kristen, do you have any idea which way the aldermen and alderwomen are going to vote? Are they going to back her proposals on this, especially for committee chairmanships?
The key is Wagaspack for finance, right?
I mean, yes, but also she removed like Anthony Beale from transportation. She took out Carrie Austin for overseeing the budget committee. That's big. I mean, these are people who have all of the work of city council and the secret contracts and the workers' comp program and all of these run through these committees. It does have an impact on your wallet. And she now is installing people who are going to welcome financial audits and welcome more scrutiny and more transparency. So I do think she has the votes, Amy. I'm told that she does. Nobody really wants to embarrass themselves with their first step, trying to protect the old way, but it certainly won't be unanimous.
At the state level, big news over the weekend in the dark of night where thieves like to operate. The passage of the graduated state income tax, guaranteeing it will be on the 2020 ballot. So we're at the state level, we're increasing gas taxes, water taxes, streaming taxes, grocery bag taxes, healthcare provider taxes, beer, wine, liquor taxes, car registration, licensing fees, cab taxes for using services like Uber and Lyft, hotel taxes, cigarette taxes, sales taxes, parking tax, RTA tax. And then we're going to graduate the state income tax, too, to go from 4.9 to 7.75, 7.95, plus the corporate tax goes up from 7 to 7.99. At least that's the Jelly Belly proposal. And then obviously this money will be spent to pay down a backlog of unpaid bills and to start paying down unfunded pension liabilities and to right the ship of state.
The only part of what you said that is true are all of the tax hikes, but there's no way that this is going to fix the state. And it's almost embarrassing that this is the way it's being portrayed. And it was on the House floor by the House sponsor, Bob Martwick, who basically said what they've said every time they've passed a tax increase. This is going to help us get on stronger financial footing. It's going to help us pay down bills. It is going to do none of that. We are so underwater, and you're right. By the time even people who might see a little income tax relief under the first phase of these graduated rates, they're going to be paying more at the pump. They're going to be paying more in property taxes. This is not going to be an even deal for them. But it's done. I mean, and here's the part that really frustrates me is just all the voter apathy. We can't vote on term limits. They won't let us vote on redistricting reform, which they're about to embark on a whole new incumbency protection plan with a new set of maps that will make it even worse for a second voice down in Springfield. They block all of that. And yet this proposal for a graduated income tax basically sped through both chambers in a matter of 3 weeks. I mean, that should outrage voters, but of course it doesn't, and they continue to send the same people back to Springfield.
Well, that's because this is like a heaven's gate as a state. This is a death cult. You know, you have to understand, if you have the perspective that people here, the majority here, are reasonable or interested in anything related to substantive arguments, evidence, reality on the ground, then of course you're going to be exasperated all the time. That's why I'm happy-go-lucky. Because I recognize it. I recognize this to be, that you have a majority of the state that are waiting for alien spaceships to land and take them to a bigger, better world. And so, okay. So we can destroy the state because the spaceships are coming.
Did you just describe yourself as happy-go-lucky?
That's me.
Did I catch that correctly?
That's me. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. High on life.
I mean, You talked earlier about this Reproductive Health Care Bill Act that they approved yesterday. The governor said he's going to sign it. I mean, that was a gut-wrenching debate to even watch between Representative Avery Bourne, who is 38 weeks pregnant, comes from a smaller town, downstate Republican, and Kelly Cassidy, who represents a North Side Democratic district, who has talked about the fact that she had an abortion. Wouldn't even really answer questions directly, but I mean, that is a bill that removes a penalty for women who maybe wanted to have an abortion because they wanted a boy, but they're pregnant with a girl. It takes that out. It removes a coroner investigation if a woman dies from an investigation. It forces parents or spouses to pay for abortions that they didn't approve or even know of. It was a really hard debate to watch, and then to watch all these women celebrate afterward was pretty difficult turn of events that the state is heading toward.
In my best Kelly Cassidy, to our neighbors in Illinois who hear the news around the country and worry that this war on women is coming to Illinois, I say not on my watch. To the people of Missouri and Alabama and Georgia and Kentucky and Mississippi and Ohio, I say not on my watch. Kelly Cassidy, hero.
Well, I mean, she just repeated the same line throughout the entire back and forth debate, which was, this is a bill that treats abortion care like any other health care, but it isn't. Getting an abortion is not like getting a tooth pulled. No. And so just the fundamental premise from which this bill arose and from which supporters came to it was just really hard to watch.
Well, if it was like any other health care provision, then the facilities would actually be state inspected, which of course abortion mills are not. Then you would actually have doctors and doctors limited to doctors performing the procedures, which this bill does not. So this bill soon to become law does not. So, I mean, everything about what Kelly Cassidy and these other ghouls in Springfield are saying is a lie, because the truth is very difficult to stomach, even for those who do not consider themselves pro-life. But here's where we are in Illinois. We can endure neither our vices nor their cures. So we just let the barbarians pursue their barbarism. And that's what's happened over the weekend in Springfield, and it will continue to happen until the spaceships come.
Well, they still have a bill that's sitting in the Senate that would remove parental notification, which would allow minors to get an abortion without even having to notify an adult, or doctors having to make sure an adult is brought into the loop. Even though judicial bypass, which allows people who aren't in that situation, minors, to get some sort of adult involved in the decision-making process, has worked. But they want to remove that too. And the bill that they passed over the weekend yesterday, also would pretty much remove the ban on partial birth abortion, so allow much more late-term pregnancies. And they say that doctors don't perform late-term abortions anyway, but there's a lot of data to suggest that that's also not true.
Oh my God. Did Representative Cassidy ever explain the extraordinary medical measure, for a 36-week-old baby that could be terminated?
I did watch the debate, and I don't think that particular issue came up, but I might have missed it.
Yeah, well, it's because the Republican Party hid behind Avery Bourne's skirt, like the cowards that they are. Total colossal mistake, starting from the premise of the left when it comes to who can speak on the issue of women's health and unborn life. It's idiotic, but that's par for the course as well. Let me ask you about FOID card. for those who are interested in their Second Amendment rights in Illinois. The bill bouncing around down there that would increase the FOID card fee, would double it from $10 to $20, but also in addition to that, fingerprint. Everybody has to get fingerprinted. That could be an issue.
It could be, and there are still a handful of Democrats who come from more rural areas of Illinois who generally resist that kind of legislation, where that one could actually get caught up, even though the Democrats have a supermajority, could get turned away. They're, of course, steamrolling ahead with a $41 billion capital bill that'll be funded with, gaming revenue that we have recently learned even Republican leaders got in on that deal a few years ago.
Sure.
Operating Bill Brady, the Senate Republican leader, has a role that the Gaming Board and others have identified him as being a key player in video gaming legislation, which he will help usher through the legislature. So, enriching oneself as an elected official hits both sides of the aisle.
Oh, of course. Well, there's no both sides of the aisle, though. There's not even an aisle. It's just the Chicago Democrat crime families, and then the sort of the street level operatives on the Republican Party for them. That's what that is. And so the question, obviously, is with all this good news coming about revenue generation with dope and gaming, when can we look forward to prostitution legalization?
I mean, why not? Why shouldn't a woman be able to consent to
her body?
It's really the only thing that isn't on the table that I'm aware of. But you never know what could be buried in one of these pieces of legislation that's down there. We're hurtling toward May 31st. All of this, if it does get agreed to, will be at the last minute. Huge bills plopped on legislators' desks. But again, voters tolerate it. The Republican Party, which is supposed to be a voice for sanity down there, also tolerates it. And this session under a new governor, same as the previous governor, same as the previous governor.
She is Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune columnist and editorial board member. Kristen, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
It was a brutally cold, harsh winter. Pothole season is bad. Guess what? Your commercial building parking lot took a beating too. Take care of it now to prevent further damage. Time to get a great parking lot. Great Parking Lots, a local company with decades of great parking lots for Chicagoland. Get a quote.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great Parking Lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great.
Commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. Get a great parking lot. They use a special process that not only works well, but lasts longer. It's a great investment for your business or for your commercial building to have a great parking lot. It's the first impression for everyone in the building and people visiting the building. And you can do business with a company that shares your values.
I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out. GreatParkingLots.com.
GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Coming up, a new nominee for the worst first pitch of all time, and it happened here in Chicago with Dan's beloved White Sox. But first, let's talk about the golf outing. Hey, it is Monday, June 24th, don't you know, at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. Many of you have asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf? No. Just call this number. Sign up your foursome or your twosome or your single, 312-363-6680. Again, that's 312-363-6680. The morning shotgun sold out, but our 2 p.m. afternoon shotgun is open. So make the call. And if you run a business, this is a great time to elevate your company, take it to the next level. If you sign up a foursome for $1,196, we will give you 25 one-minute commercials to air right here on AM 560 Monday through Friday. It is a $3,000 value for just $1,196. And again, the portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. It's a win-win. So call today, 312-363-6680, 312-363-6680, or go to 560theanswer.com/golf.
I am Welby Torres, owner and lead tech at AirTech Automotive.
When a job well done is out of here and you see this customer's face lit up, you can't fake that. And that's satisfaction to me. What am I working for? To treat every car like I treat mine.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents
And Doug.
Limu, there's a woman threatening to sign up for generic car insurance. Grab your birdseed and let's go.
I'm gonna sign these papers right here, right now.
Ma'am, drop the pen. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Thanks, Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Don't thank us, thank Liberty Mutual. But also thank us.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
It's not officially summer yet, but it's starting to feel like it. Maybe, hopefully, once the rain stops and the weather's going to get nice. Maybe if you're going out golfing, if you went on a bike ride, and you woke up the next morning a little sore and tired, well, that means you need to take Balance of Nature. It's 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies in a single capsule. An easy way, folks, to get enough fruits and veggies in your diet. So stop waiting to try Balance of Nature. Thousands of people are taking it, including me, and we're enjoying healthier, more active lifestyles. And I know you've heard the stories here on the air. Those stories are real. And the next story could be yours. So get healthy this summer with Balance of Nature. And right now, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% off, plus free shipping. Call this number, 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
172 footwear companies send a letter to Donald Trump. They're running against his trade policy. We'll discuss with Steve Moore at 7:37.
And have you seen it? Did she even bother to practice? We'll explain. But first, straight into the newsroom we go. Here is the one and only Mike Scott. Are you wearing a hoodie?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that look before.
Oh, I do all the time.
Oh.
You just never look through the glass carefully, or you never have your glasses on when you're supposed to.
Exactly.
54 degrees and cloudy skies out there. A massive tornado that hammered northeast Kansas spared most of the Kansas City suburbs on Tuesday night.
We saw the wind pick up, and when the rain started to come down, the wind almost shifted directions on us.
Damage cleanup is underway after that tornado first touched down near the University of Kansas in Lawrence.
The storm was coming from the west, and the next thing we know, the wind started coming from the east, and that's when the debris really started to fly across from one side of our yard to the other.
Corey Williams lives in Missouri, where the two tornadoes touched down. Amid massive flooding, the National Weather Service says this morning they expect the Arkansas River to reach the 41-foot water level tonight. The Arkansas already surpassing its high mark set back in 1945. A $19 billion disaster relief bill has failed to pass the House for the second time. The Senate-approved bill would provide aid and funding to parts of the U.S. hit by hurricanes, flooding, earthquakes, and wildfires. Planned Parenthood could stop performing abortions in St. Louis this week. The nonprofit organization says the facility's license is in jeopardy over a legal battle with the state of Missouri. The state is expected to make a decision on whether to renew the license by Friday, the same day Planned Parenthood's current license expires. Chicago police are investigating after a mother was shot and killed holding her baby in the Austin neighborhood. Brittany Hill was holding her daughter outside of a car when two males jumped out of another vehicle and shot her multiple times. During the shooting, Hill tried to hide behind other parked vehicles. She shielded the baby. The child was not hurt. The mother died later at a nearby hospital. An expansive pro-abortion bill is moving to the Illinois Senate. Democrat Representative Kelly Cassidy introduced that bill.
To our neighbors in Illinois who hear the news around the country and worry that this war on women is coming to Illinois, I say not on my watch.
Reproductive Health Act passed the State House yesterday, wiping out 45 years of protections for the unborn and mothers seeking abortion. If the Senate approves in a concurrence vote, the bill would move on to the governor's desk for a possible signature. Naperville native James Holzhauer back in the news again and closing in on a record-breaking time spent on the game show Jeopardy! The Naperville North grad won his 29th consecutive game yesterday, taking home just over $59,000. That, if you're keeping track at home, brings his 29-day total to more than $2.2 million, and he is getting closer to the $2.5 million set by Ken Jennings in 2004. White Sox over the Royals twice yesterday. Game 2, Lucas Giolito's 10 strikeouts helped the Sox to a 4-3 win over the Royals. Game 1 went to the White Sox as well. That was the finish of Monday's suspended game and a 2-1 White Sox winner. 5 home runs for the Cubs, not enough in a 9-6 loss in Houston. The news is a service of Krylon Fusion. Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray. The paint bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming is necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Christopher Nowak, a real estate agent with Castline Properties here in Chicago. When a buyer contacts me with questions about the loan process, what type of loan products are available, it's easy for me to put that buyer in touch with Townstone Financial and specifically Zach Schwartz, Barry Sterner, the whole team over there at Townstone. I have confidence that the team at Townstone is going to make me look good. The result at the end of the experience is that the customer is always happy with the service they receive.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Now that winter is finally over, it's the perfect time to get your fireplace and chimney up to speed for the coming year. The Fireplace and Chimney Authority is the Midwest's largest fireplace and chimney company and offering specials on cleanings, inspections, and chimney repair. Call them today, 630-279-8500, and receive $40 off your next chimney cleaning and inspection, or $100 off masonry repairs over $750. Use discount code AM560 to claim this limited time offer. In business and veteran owned since 1992, let the Fireplace and Chimney Authority be your one-stop shop for all fireplace and chimney needs. Call today, 630-279-8500, or stop by into one of their beautiful showrooms in Lisle or Elmhurst to see Chicagoland's largest selection of fireplaces, gas logs, fire pits, outdoor kitchens, and grills. Call them today, 630-279-8500.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Keene Jr. of the Mail House, Inc., a family-owned and operated digital print mail house with a specialty in political advertising and a customer of Signature Bank. We knew that getting a loan to buy our business wouldn't be easy, so we turned to one of our trusted friends for a referral. She told us about the outstanding level of customer service her business received at Signature Bank since becoming one of their first customers in 2006. us. Today, we couldn't be happier. Not only did Signature help us finance the purchase of the mail house, but they supported our growth as we modernized our operations in mailing as well as from traditional to digital printing. If you're looking for a great bank to grow your business, take a look at Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
7:38 in the AM 560 traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Southbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy Belmont to Michigan Avenue. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson and Randolph to the Oak Street curve after a crash. The northbound tri-state is jammed. 115th and Ridgeland to 47th. And from Cermak to Lawrence. Eastbound Reagan tollway delays are Naperville Road to 355. And the Myers toll to 83. And then at the tri-state. Northbound Veterans Memorial slow going. I-55 to Roosevelt. Eden's 22 minutes like Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown takes longer in the express lanes. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes. I-80 to the Verge. Bishop, 433. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. We're scheduled for cloudy skies, a shower or thunderstorm around again today, high near 69. 56 overnight. Clouds and a shower tomorrow, high 71. Friday, we may see the sun with a high of 79. 53 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, you're watching the HBO series Chernobyl. I am as well.
Oh, did you watch Monday's episode yet?
I did.
All right, do not spoil it for me.
I won't tell you how it ends with Chernobyl.
Well, just saying that certain episode.
I get it.
I mean, it's really chilling, and it's hard to sleep after you watch an episode of that. You have to decompress and think about, look up where the closest nuclear plant is to you.
Well, nuclear plants are safe, but
yeah, we have a different.
Andrew Sullivan has a great write-up about Chernobyl. Interesting from his perspective, as certainly coming from the left, generally speaking. He writes that the series, classic fight against time, is a disaster flick. Right, that's what it is. But what makes it fascinating is its depiction of how a communist state reacts to such catastrophe. There is zero institutional concern for human life because individuals only recount as threats to the system rather than ends in themselves. In a mandatorily atheist communist world, there are merely bodies, not souls, usefulness, not dignity. And without anything like a free press, the inhabitants of the nearby city know nothing for days except that there has been a fire and an explosion at the plant. So they stay put, hoping for the best, wondering why their sons and husbands and fathers are taking so long to end their work shifts. Hundreds of thousands have their lives potentially shortened because the big lie comes before everything else. They lie about everything. And Sullivan goes on to say, it gives a more charitable view of socialism than I would, but, as Lenin said, communism is just socialism in a hurry. But it's still worth noting what Sullivan has to say, particularly to millennials and Gen Zers. Socialism is not communism, writes Sullivan. Far from it. It can be democratic. Fear can be absent. Individual freedom profoundly attenuated, but still there. Yeah, well, generous. But neither is it social democracy, a capitalist system with a solid welfare state that takes care of its people. Socialism is currently fashionable among the young, who understandably have come to see late capitalism as a failure in improving their lives. But I wish these millennials and Gen Zers could have some understanding of what living in a socialist society is like. The texture and mood of Chernobyl gives an exaggerated but real sense of it. So for the Gen Zer or millennial in your life who's upside down,
We'll have them watch Chernobyl.
Seriously. And
I'm going to have Peyton and Eli watch it.
I have them read Andrew Sullivan, too, while you're at it. And also have them listen to Stephen Moore while you're at it, too.
And also
Stephen...
have them listen to Dan Propp.
Yeah, exactly. Got a lot of work for those Gen Zers and millennials to do. Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, not any chief economist for CNN anymore. He shed that title. But Wall Street Journal columnist and noted economist Steve Moore joins us again. Steve, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Hey, it was good to see you at the Heartland Institute last week.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dan, for emceeing that event.
It was a great talk. Yeah.
I just want, I may have misheard you, but I want to correct you on one thing about Chernobyl. By the way, that documentary is just taking everything by storm. It's amazing. It's the new Game of Thrones. I think you had said, well, nuclear power is not safe. It's not nuclear power that's not safe. It's communism that's not safe.
No, I said nuclear power is safe.
They wreck everything that they touch. And, it's so interesting because the left, which is so into environmental protection and we can't emit any carbon in the atmosphere and all these things, it's crystal clear that the countries in the world that have done by far the most damage to the environment are the communist countries. East Germany, the Soviet Union, all of those countries, they just polluted like crazy. They didn't care about the environment. And you put it very well, Dan, that the one thing about communism is it completely denigrates the rights of the individual, and that's why there was this massive cover-up, and they didn't even care if thousands of people died at Chernobyl.
Yeah, little known fact, I think, because it goes unrecognized, but it's worth noting. Illinois has the most nuclear power plants of any state in the nation, and so no, I understand nuclear. Yeah, I understand nuclear is clean and safe. I understand.
Well, when I was in high school, my mother, who was a hardcore conservative, had this license plate that said more people died in the back seat of Ted Kennedy's car than at 3 Mile Island. So there have been a lot of things. I mean, nuclear power is actually, in the United States, a very safe form of energy. Yes. And when you take into account, all the birds that are killed by windmills and things like that, it probably does less damage to the environment.
Doing some damage to the economy is Trump's trade policy, Steve. Yes, we're going to talk about it. U.S. footwear industry, 172 footwear companies sent a letter to Donald Trump saying, please stop. He wants Trump to remove footwear from the list of Chinese imports to be hit with additional tariff of up to 25%, saying that it's going to be catastrophic for our consumers, our companies, and the American economy as a whole.
As a soul, right?
Yes, very nice.
Look, you and I have had this argument week after week, and I just think Amy's going to have to be the adjudicator here. But, I'm with Trump on what he's doing on China. I think China is completely out of control. This is not the greatest time for Trump to have a trade war. I am worried about what impact this will have on the U.S. economy. I mean, footwear industry is a good example, and there are other. I talk to people who are in manufacturing to say it's because of the supply chains now that are so global. This has hurt their business. So I'm not going to argue with you, Dan, that this has not hurt many American companies. It has, and it will cost American consumers more. The question, and Amy, I'm pleading with you to take my side on this, isn't, we are in an abusive trade relationship with a country who, not just in terms of trade, but what they're doing with respect to cyber espionage, what they're doing with hacking into our computer system.
Yeah, they're stealing our intellectual property.
Isn't it time we stand up to Beijing?
No, now is not the time. Especially with an election in 2020. No, absolutely not. It's not only, shoe manufacturers, car manufacturers, the firework owners in Indiana. I don't know if you've heard this, but they spoke out yesterday. It's hurting their business too.
John Deere
and eventually,
in
Moline. And eventually they're going to have to pass the costs off to the consumers, which is us. So all that I'm saving with these just hear me out. All this, money that I'm saving with tax.
Okay, so Amy,
with Trump's tax cuts,
I hear you. Now my I have question
to
to you, I know you're supposed to be doing the interview here. But what do we do then? I mean, we're in a situation where China is acting like a hostile power against the United States. They are the second largest economy in the world. They're cheating, they're stealing, they are involved in, all sorts of nefarious acts against the United States.
Right, but isn't there another way to do it without?
They're Red China. We're up against Red China again. They've moved so far away from freedom and free enterprise there. I just worry that if we just back down, the abuses are going to get worse.
But okay, and so will the penalties in the interim. China story out of the UK yesterday that China is now threatening to halt the supply of rare earths, chemical elements used in everything from high-tech consumer electronics to military equipment. And that.
Okay, so I've got a great one on this.
Okay,
Dan. I'm so glad you.
All right.
I'm writing my column on this, so I'm glad you brought up rare earths. It's actually, believe it or not, it's something that I know about.
Okay.
So you know what country in the world has by far the most rare earth minerals?
What?
Russia.
The United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
We have more of this stuff than China. We have more of it than Russia. We have more of it than Saudi Arabia. And guess what? We produce almost none of it. And why is that? Because there are so many mining restrictions in the United States put in place by radical environmentalists that we now it's insane. We have to depend on China and Russia for rare earths that, by the way, without rare earth minerals, ladies and gentlemen, you can't have green energy. You need it for solar panels. You need it for windmills and so on. And it is outrageous. We should have a national security policy that says let's go and mine that stuff in Wyoming and Montana and Colorado, where we have way more of this stuff. It's actually a total outrage. It's ridiculous that we're not supplying them. These are critically necessary minerals, not just for energy, but also for our national security issues and so on. Why aren't we producing this stuff here at home?
Well, that's a good question and a good point, but here's the response to that. Where's the strategic vision then? If you want to escalate, you know where China is going to go. They're going to hit us where it hurts, and this is one of the areas. So if you're going to go to the mat on this, then be prepared for the response you're going to get from your enemy and adjust accordingly ahead of time. As Amy points out, and I think she's right to do so, to me, this is the issue that could derail Trump's reelection, his trade policy. If this persists and the economy starts to slow, then it's just his personality, and his personality alone is not enough to win.
Well, that's for sure.
The economy, the economy, and his economic performance is.
Yeah. No, look, I mean, you and I totally agree on that. And if Donald Trump is reelected, and I think he will be, it will be because of the booming economy. And you are also right that the China trade war is hurting the economy, no question about it. And it may tip the economy. I don't think we're going to go into recession, but it can really slow this, enormous growth rate we've had. So it's a dangerous game. We talked about this last week, Dan. I'm worried that what's going to happen in Beijing. But let's not forget, as much damage as it's doing to us, it's doing way more damage to the Chinese. I mean, the Chinese are feeling four times the impact of this, and we are. But they're patient people. They don't care what if this puts 1 million people in their unemployment lines. They don't care about people. And so I do worry, Dan. I'll have to concede this point that President Xi just sits back and said, "We'll just wait this guy out. We'll take Joe Biden as president." I mean, Joe Biden doesn't even think that China's a threat to the United States. He thinks they're a friendly power. Who do you think the Chinese want in the White House in 2021? Donald Trump or a rollover like Joe Biden?
Well, exactly. And that's why I keep beating this drum, is because that's something I don't want to see, and I know you don't want to see it either. And so at some point you have to make a pragmatic decision based on, the time crunch you're under, and he's under a time crunch.
Okay, so what does he do? You're Donald Trump's economic advisor for the day, Dan. You're going to the Oval Office in the White House, and you're going to tell Donald Trump to do what?
Well, I mean, what I would tell him to do is what he should have done at the beginning, but I know he doesn't.
No.
We
are. I mean, you can't say, "Oh, well, we should have done this." We are where we are today.
It's the same advice. You know what I'm going to do? If they won't do a deal the way that I originally conceived it, then we're going to hurt China even more than we're hurting them now. And you know the way we hurt China even more than we're hurting them now? We drop all our tariffs. We let them impose punishment on their consumers, and we benefit ours. We grow people's household incomes by increasing their purchasing power, and we grow manufacturing and in the textile industry and farming by dropping our barriers and exposing the communist contradictions of the Chinese.
You sound to me like Neville Chamberlain, peace in our time.
Oh, now you've done it. Those are fighting words.
Romance is over. Romance is done.
Oh, that's it.
But regardless of what happens, how are we going to stop them from stealing our intellectual property? I mean,
Well, that's a tough one, I have to admit, because they don't. The thing about the Chinese, they don't have any sense of number one, they don't keep their word. They don't have Western values about property rights and right of contract. It's very difficult, Amy. I mean, you're asking the right question. How do we enforce property rights? And by the way, the interesting thing about patents, intellectual property, is now China is actually applying for all these patents, because they're actually starting for the first time to invent things. And now they're going to ask us to honor their patents when for 30 years they've never honored ours.
Well, here's the alternative then. I mean, if you don't want to be straight with the American people and if you don't want to follow the laws of economics, fine. Then just go to the WTO, get a judgment against the Chinese for unfair trade practices.
Oh,
it won't be. Well, wait a second. Let me finish.
Are you being
Wait,
serious?
no, let me finish.
The WTO?
Let me finish. Let
That's
me
like saying,
finish.
we're going to stop Japan in 1940 by going to the United Nations. Come on. The WTO doesn't.
I know. That's my point. To come up with a predicate.
We should have never let them in the WTO. They've violated
wait a
every
second.
precept of
Wait
the
a second.
WTO.
We are where we are. You just said we are where we are. That's my whole point. Find a flimsy predicate, a disingenuous one, but a predicate to get out of this trade war, and that's it.
All right. Okay, Neville.
All right. Okay. All right.
We're going to win. We're going to get a deal before the end of the year. It's not going to be a great deal. The trade war will be over. The economy will boom, and Donald Trump will win re-election.
You keep pushing back
and I'm
your.
giving you a Trump 2020 bumper sticker, and Amy, I'm getting one for you too.
You keep pushing back your deadline of when this is going to happen, but okay. Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist and economist. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
See you guys. Have a great week.
Take care.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560. The Answer.
If you maintain an industrial plant, you know your dust collection systems are a vital part of the operation of your plant. Without them, things can get dusty quick. And when your dust collection system malfunctions, the downtime can cost your plant money. Time to call the professionals at Vans Industrial for help.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. At Vans, we work with many different types and sizes of dust collectors, from 1,000 CFM to 100,000 CFM. If your system needs housing repair, tube sheet, pulse valves, ductwork, or collection hoods, give us a call. Schedule an inspection today to keep things running smoothly and avoid costly downtime. And when you're ready for a new dust collector, we can design your system from the collection hoods to the stack for plants of all size applications.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America, one life at a time.
I wish they would have me do a commercial. I'm from the New York area, and we don't trust anybody. And I need to tell you, I certainly didn't trust you guys at first. After all, you're like out of Utah. I was like, what is in Utah? Really? Then I heard some little old man saying, it's not fruits and veggies, and da-da-da-da. And I was so, when you're in pain, you will try anything. And I said, let me try it. But I need to tell you that I'm jogging now. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-500-5588. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-500-5588 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-500-5588 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-500-5588.
AM 560, The Answer.
Quick calendar note. Steve Moore, who, even though he called me names, I still love him. He's going to be in town again tomorrow night. Will County Republicans, their Lincoln Day dinner. Go to willcountyrepublicans.org. I think tickets are still available if you want to see Steve Moore in town tomorrow night.
All right, real quickly, you have to see it to believe it. It is quite possibly the worst first pitch ever thrown in the history of baseball. It happened yesterday at the White Sox. They were playing the Royals, and this woman, they're not releasing her name. She was the employee of the month. So she's
lucky they're not.
Got to throw out the first pitch. And I've never seen anything like it. She hit the photographer who was about 5 feet away from her to her left. She didn't even come close to even making it even toward first base pitch or home plate.
Yes.
And the best part is that the White Sox pitcher, Evan Marshall, was there to catch the ball. He was laughing so hard he put his glove over his face.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah, just a slight bit. Photographer, camera's fine.
I don't think I can thank her enough. Never knew that this was going to be my 15 minutes of fame, but actually Ron Vesey, the team photographer, said that out of the 35 years that he's done this, he's never had that happen. So glad I could be the first.
And she had to be blonde. Blonde.
I mean, she beamed him right on the lens, the camera lens. It was,
and he still held on to the camera. He still got the shot, but you have got to see this. We'll tweet it out.
Real professional. I never thought that Mom G's Obama's first pitch would be defeated as the most disgraceful until yesterday. I was clearly wrong.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk about reparations he doesn't want with NFL great Burgess Owens at 8:08.
And later, a warning from an Ohio weatherman. Don't mess with this guy. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom, here's Mike Scott.
The brother of a murder suspect shot and killed by police on the South Side. Illinois House approves an expansive abortion rights bill. White Sox beat the Royals twice while the Astros outslugged the Cubs. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
They're cleaning up tornado damage in several more states. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
People don't have windows. Their roofs are off. Trees are on top of things.
She's in Berks County, Pennsylvania, where no one was injured. At least 12 hospitalized in Kansas.
We just waited until the freight train subsided.
The mayor of Linwood says dozens of homes in her community are all gone on the 12th straight day when at least 8 tornadoes were reported to the National Weather Service. Flooding is another problem. Homes underwater in parts of the South and Midwest, especially bad in Oklahoma and Arkansas.
Here in the Fort Smith area, where the river is expected to crest at 42.5 feet, which would be nearly double the flood stage and an all-time high. And city officials tell us they expect about 1,000 homes to be flooded or impacted in this area.
Fox's Matt Finn, Republican Congressman Justin Amash got cheers and some jeers last night at a town hall in Michigan for recently saying President Trump committed an impeachable offense, obstruction.
Even though Mueller's report makes clear that there are elements that meet criminal standards, that's not what impeachment is about. It's a finding that someone has violated the public trust.
Well, the president's called Amash a loser and a lightweight, insisting he's done nothing wrong. Fired FBI Director James Comey took more shots at the president. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, calling it the worst deep state conspiracy ever. In a Washington Post op-ed, Comey wrote the FBI kept the Russian interference investigation quiet, in part because a leak would have been devastating to the Trump campaign. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, disagrees, telling Fox and Friends,
somebody should have told us that intelligence had made very clear to them that Russia was trying to interfere in the campaign.
Comey wrote there was no corruption, treason, or attempted coup within the intelligence community. Dave?
This is Fox News.
Clouds, 54 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There is an investigation underway after the brother of a fugitive wanted in the killing of a teen boy was shot and killed by Chicago police on the city's south side. Officers were trying to arrest a man in a car near 81st and South Chapel when he pulled out a handgun, then was shot by Chicago police officers. That man has been identified as Curtis Stagger, the brother of the man wanted in the deadly shooting of Jalen Elzy. The teen was killed in a drive-by attack earlier this month. Mayor Lightfoot laying out her priorities for the first 100 days in office.
In the first 100 days, we'll push for more sweeping ethics reforms, like making sure no elected official can monetize their position for personal gain. Lightfoot
talked about her goals as she is about to preside over her first Chicago City Council meeting. Authorities still investigating after the brother of the founder of the Mariano's grocery store chain was found dead in Schaumburg. Joseph Mariano's body was discovered early Sunday inside of a home in the 200 block of Dublin Lane. He had been stabbed, and his death is being considered a homicide. The former Arlington Heights police officer and juvenile detective was the brother of Mariano's founder and former CEO Bob Mariano. Lucas Giolito struck out 10. White Sox were winners over the Royals 4-3 in Game 2 of the day at Guaranteed Rate Field. Game 1 was the finish of Monday's suspended game, and that was a 2-1 White Sox winner. Astros beat the Cubs 9-6 in Houston. At 8:03, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Boeing's 737 MAX planes could remain grounded for at least a couple more months. An industry trade group, the International Air Transport Association, says airlines are actually preparing for 10 to 12 more weeks of delay before the plane can resume commercial service. Reports in Japan say Nissan has informed Renault that it's not opposed to its partner's potential $35 billion merger with Fiat Chrysler. Renault's chairman Jean-Dominique Senard is in Japan to discuss the situation with Nissan. Fewer people were applying for mortgages last week. The Mortgage Bankers Association says total mortgage application volume declined 3.3% last week compared with the week before. However, more people are applying for mortgages than a year ago when mortgage rates were higher. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04 on AM 560. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The end of a committed relationship is among life's most stressful episodes. The time when you must rely on someone who will look after your best interests and those of your children. That's why people turn to the Illinois chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers, the leading association of peer-approved family law attorneys. They are the best of the best. Fewer than 150 divorce lawyers in Illinois have passed the Academy's rigorous vetting process, and each has at least a decade's experience in family law. A family separation can take many different paths. You need the most qualified guide you can find, who will secure the legal groundwork in a time of emotional upheaval. Look first to the Illinois chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. They not only know the law, they help write the law. Visit thefamlaw.org to learn more about the attorney who may be best for you.
Law, liberty, justice. This is Law and Justice with Jay Sakulo.
For the past 27 years, I've worked for a branch of the federal government. I've always worn a little neck chain that's attached to my ID card that says WWJD on it, and chastised by management to take it off because of its religious significance.
Well, let me ask you this. Do other people, for instance, have some kind of insignia or symbol attached to their ID like that?
Let's say if you are Jewish, you're allowed to wear a yarmulke.
Right. So they've made religious accommodations for others in the past?
Yes.
Okay, then they should be doing exactly the same for you. So you hang on the line here. We'll get the specific facts from you. But if they're making religious accommodations, which it sounds like they are, then you should be in very good shape.
Learn more about your rights in the workplace at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio. Wesley had IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Coming after my house, my car. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
Wesley called Optima Tax Relief.
Oh, they were great people. Optima Tax. They know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-973-7700. 800-973-7700.
Optima Tax Relief.
It is 8:08. Check on the morning ride to work in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
In Bolingbrook, Royce Road is now closed due to flooding between 53 and Green Road. Southwest Highway remains closed in Orland Park between 135th and 143rd. Traffic is heavy on the inbound Kennedy starting around Nagel. 56 minutes O'Hare downtown. 36 from Montrose, 38 in the Express. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound delays are 60 to Deerfield Road after the Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound Southwest Highway all the way up to Lawrence. And delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial, 159th, most of the way to Roosevelt, Army Trail to 290. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemundo on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, here is our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly cloudy, shower and thunderstorm. The high today, 69. Clouds and a shower tonight. Thunderstorm late, low 56. Cloudy tomorrow, a shower and thunderstorm. And the high tomorrow, 71. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer. 56
at O'Hare, 55 along the lakefront. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and we mentioned his piece in the Wall Street Journal yesterday. I didn't earn slavery reparations, and I don't want them. Talking about our friend Burgess Owens, friend of the show. He talking about his great-grandfather who came to America shackled in the belly of a slave ship and went on to be a free man, a successful man, a Christian man, the patriarch of a large family, a pillar of his community, and pass that on to future generations, like, to Burgess, who became a Super Bowl champion in the NFL. And he writes, among other pertinent parts of his piece in the Wall Street Journal, because of work I've never done, stripes I've never had, under whip I'll never know, Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, Elizabeth Warren, and others want to give me free stuff. Never mind that it will be taken from others who also dreamed, worked, and sacrificed to earn it. I don't want it, writes Burgess Owens. Burgess Owens, former NFL player, as I mentioned, and Super Bowl champion, author of Why I Stand, From Freedom in the Killing Fields of Socialism, and one of my favorite book titles of all time, his previous book, Liberalism, or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps.
That's awesome.
That is a great book title. And a good book. I read that one. I haven't gotten to his latest yet. Also, and we'll talk to him about this, Second Chance for You initiative. The Second Chance for You initiative. You can get more information about it at burgessowens.com, his website. Burgess Owens, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Ben and Amy, good talking with you again. Looking forward to it, my friend, for sure.
Obviously what prompted you to write about reparations is that this has become a signature issue of separating Democrat socialist candidates for president, as you point out, the number of candidates who have support reparations. And did you really think that this has currency in the for Black Americans, significant currency for Black Americans, or is this more about appealing to white liberals?
No, it doesn't have any currency at all to any American who loves our country and wants to understand the process of assimilation and moving forward. What we have to understand is that the same people talk about reparations, the same party that is yelling up from the rooftops about how we're owed for stuff in the past is the same party that did all that stuff. The Democratic Party is a party of slavery, segregation, the KKK, killing 20 million babies, putting these black people, my race, within these urban communities where they have no hope. And they're the same people that ask the rest of the country to man up and make up for what they've done. So my suggestion, very simply, is we should have reparations, but it should be democratic reparations. We should start a movement called Make Democrats Pay. Make them pay, and they should pay for every bit of misery that our country's gone through, because they've been at the very forefront. And it only works, Dan, if you steal our history. So let me just say this really quick. If Americans understood the we the people history that we've done together, they would be amazed at how well we've done to come from what we did to a country that literally looks at each other from the inside out, not outside in. And I just want to make this one point, because Americans don't know this, because these liberals, socialists have stolen our history. The black race in the 40s, 50s, and 60s led our country in the growth of the middle class. There were 50% of black Americans, which my family and most of my family across the country were part of. 50% were part of the middle class, which means that percentage-wise, we had more success than white Americans during that time. We led our country in terms of the commitment of men to marriage was 70%. The percentage of men matriculated from college, and the percentage of entrepreneurs over 40%. So that's our history. And if we really take it a little further, you'll understand that we turned that upside down because of the same Democratic Party that wants to talk about reparations.
Have you had any pushback from African Americans? I read your article. I loved it. I agree. I understand what you're saying, but there are some African Americans out there who want reparations. And have any of them talked to you about it or reached out to you?
And I mean, of course, there's always going to be, understand the ideology of socialism and Marxism isn't colorblind. You have blacks and whites that are part of that, and they whoever they are, blacks and whites, if they get into that area, first of all, they become racist. And racism, I grew up in the Deep South. I don't care what color you are. It is a way to stay unhappy for the rest of your life. And we have people in this country, because the Democratic Party has turned out my race from entrepreneur race to a race of socialists. Those that sitting there, that want to be beggars. They think for some reason, because they were born black, that somebody owes them a living. And that's never been the American way, and never will be the American way. If they want to do that, go to some other country that stops people from moving forward. That is not America. And that's the beauty of my great-great-grandfather's story. If you understand that slaves came from that period and became very successful, that undermines every bit of the reparation, the idea that there's some kind of way slavery is in our DNA. Because we have success intertwined throughout our history, then it shows that no matter where you were, where your background might be, that you can see in this country. And that's the message that the leftists would not like to get out, because it gives us hope no matter where we are in our lives.
You mentioned black Americans being born free. Well, that's if they're born. And with abortion in the news, I wanted to get your take on these two data points, which the left doesn't want Americans to know either. Black Americans, 12% of the country's population, 35% of the abortions, 78% of Planned Parenthood clinics in minority communities. How do you receive those data points?
Again, understand that's all Democratic Party. The one thing that the Democrats do and have done well, and it started with the NAACP in 1910, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, was not started by colored people. It started by 21 white socialist, Marxist, race-controlled Democrats. Of course, they put in front of it a colored person, a black person, as they went up the side. And that's the Democratic Party today. Our greatest enemy is not white supremacists, it's black elitists. It's these people like John Lewis and Maxine Waters and the whole group that become very, very wealthy. And all they do is they carry the water for a Democratic Party that literally brings misery as a policy. to black people. So no, if you understand that we've been under attack for a long time, if you take the history and the book I wrote, Liberalism, How to Turn Good People Good Men into Whiners, Needs, and Wimps, it talks about how my race was attacked back in 1910 and switched totally around. That's exactly, we're the prototype of what they're trying to do to our country now. Destroy the family unit, take away our hope, take away manhood, disrespect womanhood, separate us so we're hopeless. That's what they're trying to do to our country. They did it very, very well for the last 60, 70 years to the black community. So let's not let it happen. We've gone that route before. Let's learn our history from what they've done to us and not let them do it again for our country.
Speaking of manhood and womanhood, those are confusing categories these days. A man who identifies as a woman from Franklin Pierce University, C.C. Telfer, beat the 800 women, eight women in the field for the 400-meter hurdles by more than a second. He is the Division II women's 400-meter hurdle national champion. What about that? What about men competing against women in sports?
That are female sports, women's sports.
Right, and disenfranchising women to participate in sports or achieve in sports at every level.
I understand that the core of our fight, and it doesn't matter which of these topics we go through, the core of it is we have the Judeo-Christian values that our country is based on, which identify families as men and women, biological, and what a family looks like. That is at the core of our country, and it's been one that has allowed us to be the most successful nation in the history of mankind. We have the socialists, Marxists, and atheists that would love to turn it upside down. We have men competing against women, and people thinking it's okay. I wonder, where are the parents? Where's the mother and father of these people, these kids, these girls particularly, that's seeing that these opportunities have been taken away from them by men and sitting there quietly letting it happen? What's going on with the fathers of our country that allow that to happen to their daughters? We need to man up, for men and women up, and fight against this ideology that's stealing the real core of the values of our country and who we are. And it saddens me to see that this is going on, and it's allowed to go on because no one is standing up for it. So wherever these bureaucrats are making these decisions, some kind of way we need to get them, they're like little termites in our system, get them out of there and get people in there care about our country, care about our kids, and particularly our young ladies. Once we start losing respect for our young ladies, we've lost everything when it comes down to manhood. We don't have it anymore. We can't do that.
Mr. Owens, I wanted to ask you about some new information about FBI tapes that allege Martin Luther King Jr. had affairs with 40 women, but the point of contention is that he allegedly watched and laughed as his friend raped a woman. Do you think all MLK statues should come down? How do you think, with this Me Too movement,
it saddens me, obviously. It saddens me, obviously, if that is what's happened. But here's the thing that we have to learn to think about when it comes down to our past. We have a tendency today, particularly the leftists, is having this idea that people in the past have been pure. They have done nothing wrong. They have been the greatest examples of a God. Understand that people are people. They're going to make mistakes. Our country is full of imperfect people from throughout the history of time, and we are today the same way imperfect. So no, we don't take away the statues. What we do is take what he gave to us, examples of how we move our country further. Understand he was a flawed man. And again, I'm hoping that that's not true, but at the end of the day, it shows that even those of us who make big, big mistakes, and we all do, we can still create value to this country. We need to pull that value, teach the positives out that we've done to our kids and help them emulate that, and every generation gets better by understanding the mistakes and not duplicating that, and at the same time being the best we can with those great things we've been taught.
I think that's well said, and that dovetails nicely to a little bit more detail on your Second Chance for You initiative.
Yes, Second Chance for Youth. And thank you so much, Dan, for bringing it up, because I'm convinced that our country is going to come back, not because of what we do on the top of these particularly elitists with these different programs, is those kids that they have thrown away. What they look at as trash. Those kids that have gone through the system, no fathers, no parenting, no idea of respect, no idea of love for a country. They go through the juvenile system. They come out, and no one gives them any idea of how to change the way they think, give them opportunities, so they go right back in. That is the group, I truly believe, that young group, that we give them hope. They come out, they will change the trajectory of my race, and because the black community has been The left's have been addicted to us. We started going from 92% support of them down to 70% or 50%. They've lost it. And so my thought is, and I hope people go there, and there's a thing we're putting together right now. I hope they can support us. But at the end of the day, it's going to be that generation of invisible generation that's going to bring our country back. And I hope everybody joins us in getting our kids and our youth back on track, giving them hope. And they will be the strongest advocates for our country moving forward.
All right, that's the Second Chance for Youth initiative Burgess Owens was talking about. BurgessOwens.com, his website to get more information. Also pick up his books, including his latest one, Why I Stand, From Freedom to the Killing Fields of Socialism. Burgess Owens, thanks as always for joining us. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, guys. Let's do it again. I look forward to it. Take care.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
we'll definitely have you back. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
So, along with everything else you have to do day to day running your business, you're trying to manage your digital marketing and social media. It's a lot of heavy lifting. How can you compete? Well, first, lighten the load. Get in touch with Salem Surround. We take the mysteries of digital marketing off your shoulders and deliver customers so you can run your business. To compete in today's business world, you must utilize every digital marketing tool possible. But who has the time to research, learn, and access all the options? Our team at Salem Surround has the expertise to manage all your digital marketing under one roof. It's easy and there's no heavy lifting. Get started with a free evaluation of your digital presence and some great ideas to increase your online visibility and revenue. There really are no limitations on how and where you can reach customers with Salem Surround. Total market penetration for increased ROI. Learn more at surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com. Connecting you with new customers.
Hey, two guys from Engine 78 are going to be our guests at the golf outing. I'm very excited. Maybe they can golf with my dad, who's going to crash the party, too.
Maybe they'll bring the fire truck so I can get a ride. Meet the Dalmatian.
We are golfing on Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville. It's presented by Clear Financial Strategies, and we want you to join us. You don't have to be a business owner. You can grab a buddy, grab a foursome. Sign up today. Call 312-363-6680 to reserve your foursome. Again, that's 312-363-6680. It's a win-win because you get to hang out with us and golf with us. But also, the proceeds benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. What they do is they provide financial and educational assistance to the families of the fallen first responders. So again, reserve your spot today, 312-363-6680, 312-363-6680. And if you are a business owner, call that number and find out about the Business Benefactor Program. A day of golf, free lunch. It's $1,196 for a foursome, and we'll give you 25 commercials to air here Monday through Friday on AM 560 The Answer. It's a steal of a deal. $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. 312-363-6680.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
People come up to me all the time and say, hey, do you really take Balance of Nature? And I actually do. I used to have to get B12 shots all the time. I don't. Now that I've been taking Balance of Nature, my energy level's up. I'm feeling great. No joint pain. And you could be someone, too, taking Balance of Nature. You know, thousands of people are taking it. Thousands. And we're enjoying healthier, more active lifestyles. And I know you've heard the stories here on the air, and those stories are real. And the next story could be yours. So get healthy this summer with Balance of Nature. It is 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies in a single capsule. Call this number, 800-246-8751, and you will get 15% off your first round of Balance of Nature plus free shipping. 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
Have you been denied credit? Are you paying high interest rates because of a low credit score? Join the thousands of people who've relied on CreditRepair.com to help rebuild their credit score.
I went to get my first car. I had to get a used car, high interest, and so I knew that things were done from there.
For over 15 years, we've helped thousands with their search for solutions to credit issues. We communicate with you, your creditors, and the credit bureaus with a unique approach designed to remove items like late payments, collections, charge-offs, liens, bankruptcy, and foreclosures that are unfair or inaccurate.
And I've gone up 40 points already.
There are many services offering to tell you your credit score and even monitor it for you. But what good is just knowing your credit score when what you really need is to fix it? Credit Repair members see a significant improvement in their credit scores month after month. Call now to get your no-obligation credit consultation, including your free credit score and free summary credit report. Don't delay. Call 800-859-0720. That's 800-859-0720. 800-859-0720.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. I love to barbecue, but there's nothing worse than running out of propane in the midst of cooking. It's all about being prepared, and that's how we look at your retirement planning.
Absolutely. That's why our whole team at Wealth Management Group is fired up about helping you be ready.
Tune in each week as we discuss practical ways to be ready for your retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and pick Wealth Management Group to be your +1 this summer. Listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, so people love Bachelorette on ABC, and during this string of tornadoes, this one hitting Dayton, Ohio, they cut from regular programming because there was an emergency. There was a tornado spotted on the ground. They had watches and warnings everywhere. And the meteorologist, Jamie Simpson, he was the one who was taking the brunt of this on social media, people saying things like this: hey, you're ruining my night. You're ruining Bachelorette. Get off my TV. Just it went on and on. They kept coming in. And he handled it. I don't know if he handled it well. Just listen.
That's why this is a dangerous situation tonight. It's dark. It's also rainy. I was just checking social media. We have viewers complaining already. Just go back to the show. No, we're not going back to the show, folks. This is a dangerous situation, okay? It's nice, right? Think about this was your neighborhood. I'm sick and tired of people complaining about this. Our job here is to keep people safe, and that is what we're going to do. Some of you complain that this is all about my ego. Stop. Okay, just stop right now. It's not. I'm done with you people. I really am. This is pathetic.
Don't insult the weather,
dangerous
man.
situation here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry I did
sorry.
that. It just really bothers me that we have people that don't care about other people's safety around here. That's just ridiculous.
If only all of us cared about each other the way that our TV network affiliate news anchors do. I mean, are you serious?
Awesome.
Hey, Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie Simpson.
Let me introduce you to this new thing called a smartphone where we get emergency alerts about the weather, where I can look at the weather right now. I don't need to watch your pasty face pointing to a green screen telling me whether or not the tornado is in my neighborhood. I don't need you anymore. And what he's trying to do...
Are you breaking up with him?
What he's trying to do is justify his phony baloney job the same way Mark Giangreco justifies his job reading stale sports scores that I also get popped up on my little smartphone here. Unless you look like Megan Glaros or Rachel Scott, I don't want to hear the weather from you, Jamie.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Jed Babin about geopolitical matters, including Steve Bannon's review of the EU parliamentary elections. That's at 8:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are gray, 54 degrees. Have rain showers in the forecast. And cleanup underway this morning after another round of tornadoes struck Kansas and Missouri.
Once I saw it coming across the lake,
I decided it was time to get downstairs. And once we were downstairs, the power went off when I got down there, and you could hear the stuff on the deck hitting the side of the house.
Around a dozen people are hurt after a tornado touches down in Lawrence, bringing down power lines and trees near the University of Kansas. As severe weather moves into Missouri, more than 13,000 residents lost power. Folks in northwest New Jersey waking up in the dark after a major storm there and possible tornadoes touching down.
It looked like spicy brown mustard all in front of the house. You couldn't see. The trees were bent in half. The house shook. In all my years, I've never seen anything like it.
Thousands without power in Sussex and Morris County, New Jersey. Flooding reaching historic levels along the Mississippi. National Weather Service says flooding in at least 8 states is the longest lasting since the Great Flood of 1927. Louisiana lawmakers are set to vote on a bill as early as today that would ban abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected by doctors. The bill is presented by Louisiana Democrats. An investigation continues here in Chicago after the brother of a fugitive wanted in the killing of a teen boy was shot and killed by Chicago police on the south side. An expansive pro-abortion bill is moving on to the Illinois Senate, where Democrat Representative Kelly Cassidy was introducing the bill.
To our neighbors in Illinois who hear the news around the country and worry that this war on women is coming to Illinois, I say not on my watch.
Passionate arguments were made on both sides during the debate, which would allow women to get the procedure much later in their pregnancies. Ongoing rain causing some planting difficulty for Illinois farmers. Workable conditions in fields have only been suitable for about a day and a half this month. The latest crop progress report shows only about 35% of the state's corn and 15% of soybeans planted as of Sunday. Sox take 2 from the Royals yesterday, 4-3, and 2-1 in the finish of Monday's suspended game. Astros outslugged the Cubs 9-6 in Houston. The news a service of Krylon. Today we spray. Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray paint bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection. Excellent coverage. No sanding or priming is necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray. 8:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't understand the Democrat leadership.
Listen, this is a tactic that the left is using and the Democrats are now employing. Double down. The best defense is a good offense. Rather than be on defense, I guess, Pelosi and company are figuring, let's go at them. The problem is they're doing it at the expense of those who suffered from the Holocaust. What a time.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters.
a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spraveries is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:36 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Let's get an update with Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Kennedy traffic is stop and go from Lawrence to Randolph. It's 52 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 38 from Montrose, 47 on the express lanes. They're rough. Outbound 40 minutes to the airport. Hayden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 35. The Eisenhower, 51 minutes, 390 to downtown, 35 from Manheim, outbound 49 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 50 minutes. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound, it's heavy, 21, much of the way to Deerfield Road. Northbound Southwest Highway to Lawrence. Reagan Tollway jammed, 31 to 355 at York to the Ike. Northbound Veterans Memorial, I-55 to the Reagan Tollway at Army Trail to 290. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. We'll have clouds today, a shower, maybe a thunderstorm. High 69, a low of 56, and rain overnight. Currently 56. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we talked about a little bit about the EU parliamentary elections over the weekend. We talked about them yesterday, and the takeaway is the rise of the populist right and the rise of the green left. And Steve Bannon, who's buddies with one of the key risers on the populist right, Matteo Salvini of Italy, Deputy Prime Minister, had this analysis.
I think you've seen now the possibilities, particularly in the major countries of Italy, France, and the United Kingdom, where the huge victories there for the populist national sovereignty movement. Now you see the possibility of a supergroup, that you see the possibility of putting together Hungary, Poland, the United Kingdom, along with Salvini and Le Pen, but to have actually a group that would be the second largest, I think the second largest group in all the European Parliament. What you're going to see, whether the super group can come together or not, is you now have with these sovereignty movements what I call command by negation. You certainly have a critical mass that can start to block things. And as I say, I think every day is going to be, in Brussels, is going to be Stalingrad. We're not in an era of persuasion. We're in an era of mobilization. People, because of the internet, because of the way they come to news, they come to information, the way that a lot of these political parties are almost aspirational lifestyles, this whole disintermediation of the mainstream media around Facebook Live with campaigns by Salvini and Bolsonaro and people like Nigel Farage and AOC in the United States. You're now seeing an era of mobilization. And I thought what you saw yesterday was a terrific job of mobilization by the Greens, and they are going to be a significant factor. And anybody who doesn't think they're not doesn't understand how trends develop in politics, but they're going to be quite substantial going forward.
A super group of nationalists. He makes it sound like the Justice League. I'm not sold on that. Also, I'm not sold on this mutually exclusive choice you have to make between persuasion and mobilization. We're always in an era where both elements are in play. But that's just my view. Let's get expert opinion on this. We're pleased to be joined by our friend Jed Babin, former U.S. Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, contributor to the Washington Times and the American Spectator. Jed, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Your take on
glad to be here.
Your take on the EU election results and Bannon's analysis of.
Well,
I think the election results show an enormous populist revolt against globalization. And I don't necessarily agree with him. Well, I don't agree, quite frankly, about this mobilization versus persuasion. There's always persuasion in populism and in politics. That's the nature of the game. Politics is defined by the ability to persuade other people. Yes, there are movements out there which are represented by people who are, more interested in persuasion than mobilization. You have to have a mobilization in order to elect your guys. So, again, the European elections, quite frankly, are significant, but they're significant only in respect to showing, as the Wall Street Journal said the other day, the sick man of Europe is Europe. Yeah. The European Union cannot function except for unanimity. They are unable to do that. They're not agreeing now on who should take the top roles in the EU, who should be the next European president, so on and so forth, chief of the European Commission. These are things that are very important over there because that's what their politics depends on.
Well,
but everything, forgive me for going on so long,
sure.
The most important thing in all of this is Brexit. The European Union is scared to death. They don't want a no-deal Brexit. The incompetence of Theresa May, who is still staggering on as the UK's Prime Minister and refuses to leave in time to actually get anything done. She is the worst representative of the failure of British politics and the failure of globalization.
Yeah, but she is going to be leaving eventually, and who's going to take her place, and is it really going to make a difference?
Well, there's two questions there. I mean, she's going to leave eventually, Amy. That's really the problem. Eventually, it's too bloody late. She should have quit when her deal failed in Parliament in January. She should have quit when it failed for the second time and the third time. She is hanging on by the skin of her teeth just to prove a point. And the point is that she's incompetent. Right now, if she left months ago, there might have been time to negotiate a better deal with the EU, but every day she stays there deprives the time that they need to do something like that. Don't forget, they're not going to get any more delays in Brexit. October 31st, Halloween, is the deadline. It's going to hold, and they're either in or out by then. And I think that they're going to be out, and they're going to be out with no deal because Theresa May is taking so damn long to depart that they don't have time to do something better.
Well, so if that's what comes to pass, regardless of who the next prime minister is, if it's
Bojo.
Well, Trump impersonator, yeah, right. Boris Johnson, former London mayor.
Hey, he was Trump before Trump.
Yeah, okay, all right. Him and then Nigel Farage. Obviously, this Brexit party is more popular than either the Whigs or the Tories these days. So if that does come to pass, are we looking at a disintegration of the EU, or just it just continues to limp along? And how does that affect America's interests? Both of those scenarios.
It will continue to limp along for the foreseeable future. The Eurozone, the nations that use, I think there's a dozen of them that use the euro as their common currency, will still be bound together. And I think that it's going to limp along for the foreseeable future. But it's decaying. It's decaying gradually. It's decaying irrevocably. And the real question is, will we be able to continue to trade with them? We will not, I repeat, not be able to get them to contribute their fair share to NATO. And the real question is, when a war breaks out there, eventually, there always is. I mean, it's been for 300 years. The Europeans have always been at war with each other, or somebody else has attacked them. At some point, they are going to be attacked again. We will have to defend them again, but they will be very obviously incapable of defending themselves. And I think that would be the crisis that will break up the EU, and quite frankly, may break up the Atlantic Alliance.
We're just getting this over the transom that Bob Mueller is going to make a public statement about the Russia probe at 10 a.m. It will be a statement only, no Q&A period to follow. What do you expect from Mr. Mueller?
Not much. I think he's going to basically try.
It's going to be anticlimactic.
He'll say hi and bye. No.
Oh yeah, hi and bye. Well, he's basically going to say, I didn't find that the FBI created a coup against Trump, and my best buddy Jim Comey, who by the way is his real life best buddy, didn't do anything wrong. He'll hedge and he'll hem and haw. He'll try to explain why he hasn't gone in front of Congress to testify yet. And nobody's going to be satisfied, not Trump, not Pelosi. And, Mueller is, frankly, just Mueller. He's going to continue muddling, mullering through. And this continual problem we have until the Democrats give up on the idea of impeaching Trump, and when when Barr's investigations are followed up and actually are completed as to what Comey and Brennan and Clapper did, and probably Obama himself, we will finally find out that there was no justification for the investigation of Trump, and that several people broke the law in trying to investigate him. And I'm hoping some of them are going to be indicted and go to jail.
Well, do you think he's going to answer, or, well, I know he's not taking questions, but talk about these 10 alleged possible obstruction of justice charges that have been looming overhead?
Not charges.
Excuse me, but the possible 10 counts of possible obstruction of justice.
Well, I think the only thing he'll say, pardon me, Amy, in that regard is that there was no draft indictment of Trump. That's one of the things that Michael Wolff has out in his book. And that's clearly been debunked by Mueller already yesterday, and I think he'll emphasize that. But again, it's going to be the only news on an otherwise very dull day. Well, now, by the way, the Russians are conducting underground nuclear tests again in violation of the 30-year-old test ban treaty. So maybe somebody ought to be looking at that.
Boring. Here's
I know.
Here's some more snoozer material. Starting in April 2018, a group of anonymous people created fake social media accounts to pose as journalists, plant letters to newspapers, impersonate Republican candidates for Congress, all in an effort to promote Iranian interests. Well, was Trump colluding with the Iranians, too? It doesn't seem like he's particularly fond of them.
No, he's been saber-rattling with them for, the last month. And, everything from troop buildup, sending an aircraft carrier over there. They've been doing everything they can to really muddy the waters and threaten us and, frankly, do more to build up towards a war between Israel and Hezbollah. That is a very great danger. So, both sides have been saber-rattling for a month now. I think things are quieting down a little bit. But Mr. Trump is confounding everybody, especially everybody on the right-hand side of the equation, because of his on-again, off-again approach to Iran and North Korea that I write about in today's Washington Times. I mean, the real point comes down to what is his policy. I don't think he knows, and I don't think we really know at all either.
Well, wait a second.
He's joked about, the policy towards Iran. I mean, he said, it keeps the Iranians guessing. We'll do one thing one time and one time another. There's no consistent policy there. He keeps saying we don't want regime change, and John Bolton aside, that's the only thing that's going to solve the problem in Iran.
Well, I mean, I just with this idea of the Iranians hacking, potentially, we don't know, hacking the midterm elections, and nobody seems to be particularly concerned about this initial report. I thought when foreign governments attempt to interfere in U.S. elections, that's a big problem that we should all be concerned about.
It is a very big problem. We should all be concerned about it. But if you look at what's going on, around the federal government and around these states, I mean, there is really nobody who's preparing for a cyber attack against our elections next year. The states are certainly not. They're not capable of it. I believe that many states, I don't know precisely how many, use the same computer software to count votes. Now, that's clearly something that's hackable, and if somebody wants to tinker with it, they're going to. And obviously Iran, North Korea, Russia, China, everybody's going to be getting in on this. There ought to be a massive effort to stop it, and I don't think there's anything such.
Pompeo was on, Secretary of State Pompeo was on with Maria Bartiromo this morning, and he was talking about China, not directly with respect to trade policy, but sort of indirectly talking about shipping lanes of the South China Sea and China's a lack of good faith in that area, as well as their lack of good faith with respect to intellectual property and the like that we've been discussing for the better part of 2 years. What about that? Is there concern about military escalation with China?
I don't think so. I think China is doing a lot of military escalation itself. I mean, don't forget fortifying and building up those new islands, creating new islands in the South China Sea, arming them, putting missile batteries on them. They're doing a lot. And don't forget, China, for the first time in 600 years, has built a blue water navy. And that's something we really ought to be paying more attention to, because their navy is constructed in a manner to prevent our navy from access to the South China Sea and areas around it. So it's an area denial weapon system, in effect. We need to be preparing more for confrontation with China. I don't think war with China is likely, at least soon. But China, quite frankly, is going to have a war with us at some point because of its expansionist policies and ambitions. Whether it's Taiwan, Japan, the Philippines, any of those places are directly threatened by China, any and all. And I think at some point there is going to be a conflict. I'm hopeful it'll be a short and small one. But with China, it's a big and powerful nation. We're going to be in a war that, quite frankly, may cost us more than we can pay.
Well, that's a concerning note we'll have to ponder. Jed Babin, former U.S. Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, contributor to the Washington Times and the American Spectator. Jed, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
And a quick programming note, at 10 a.m. when Robert Mueller speaks, we will have it live here on AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. More and more parents are thinking about private school, and maybe that's you. Well, private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland available at half the normal price. There's no catch. It's very simple. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, prepare to send your child off to school this fall. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located across Chicagoland, including Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, Covenant Christian in Aurora, Trinity Lutheran in Lombard, Faith Evangelical Lutheran in Antioch, Calvin Christian in South Holland, Kingswood Academy in Darien, Westminster Christian in Elgin, and many others. So don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
Well, I have different vitamins I had to take because of my post-cancer, post-cardiac situation. But the Balance of Nature, that being so condensed and so natural and, is amazing stuff. I haven't felt this good in 7 or 8 years. I would not be able to do a third of any of this stuff. After I started taking Balance of Nature, I started to have more energy. It's a godsend. It really is.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Hey, our good friend Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, has authorized us to make the best offer ever on radio or TV. For a limited time, you can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow. Again, it's the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. And if you've procrastinated and don't own a MyPillow yet or already know why this is the best pillow ever, this is your time to act. The best offer ever. And don't forget, there's also 30% off pet beds, mattress toppers, and Giza cotton sheets. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever offered ever in the history of MyPillow. 2 MyPillows for $69.98. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-4669. 0201. Tell them Amy sent you.
I am Welby Torres, owner and lead tech at AirTech Automotive. When a job well done is out of here and you see this customer's face lit up, you can't fake that. And that's satisfaction to me. What am I working for? To treat every car like I treat mine.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll. Informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents and Doug.
Limu, there's a woman threatening to sign up for generic car insurance. Grab your birdseed and let's go.
I'm gonna sign these papers right here, right now.
Ma'am, drop the pen. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Thanks, Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Don't thank us, thank Liberty Mutual. But also thank us.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Hi, I'm Misty May Trainer. As a 3-time gold medalist beach volleyball world champion, I had access to the world's best trainers and doctors. But now I'm retired, a busy mom of 3, coach volleyball, and I want my legs to look as good as possible. So when I noticed the veins on my legs, I wanted the same world-class treatment I was used to.
So Misty May joined the over 1 million women and men who went to Vein Clinics of America. For over 35 years, the doctors at Vein Clinics of America have been the leading experts in the non-invasive treatment of vein disease. If you're experiencing tired, painful, tender legs, or have lost your confidence due to those embarrassing varicose and spider veins, you can get world-class treatment for your legs in the Chicagoland area.
My experience with Vein Clinics of America was amazing. I got my legs back, and I'm ready to hit the beach again, feeling confident.
Call Vein Clinics of America now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Most treatments are covered by insurance. Call 800-514-5100. 800-514-5100. That's 800-514-5100.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, someday this may be you, Amy.
Yeah, 76-year-old referee.
You're 76.
Well, not yet. He's been with this, same school district for years, and his car broke down recently. And as a way of saying, thank not only for the season, because all the seasons are wrapping up, thank you for everything and for who you are, because he's really good with the girls' team and with the boys' team. They at first gave him gift cards because that's common, and coaches and referees like gift cards. And then,
sure. Yeah.
Or bags of cash.
So do politicians, right?
Yeah, they gave him the gift cards and then, some other, fun stuff, little trinkets, and then said, why don't you come outside? We have something to show you. And they gave him a convertible, a car, with a big red bow on top, like those Lexus commercials. And what was
it? A Lexus?
No, it wasn't a Lexus. But it was nice. It was a convertible.
You really want to know where I'm going? I can't help my friend. I'm going to church.
He could not stop crying. You have to see the video. It's just such a wonderful story. And coaches need cars too.
Yeah. Well, he served our country in the Navy. What have you done?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, Quinn McCarthy, who is
Amy's volleyball assistant coach.
We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
Skies are gray and the rain is in the forecast once again.